What is it you're holding?
A cookie?
You were chosen to become something more than you already are.
I am every opponent you've ever faced.
Let's dance, lizard.
Well, I saw that coming.
Scatters!
Ice up, son. What's up? Ice up, son. What's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding. The Panthers on a prowl will continue driving down the field to the red zone. We just got a first down and 10. Smitty on the loose, wide open Ted again. Stack 6 more on the board, looking like a win. With the 6-game winning streak, put them out their misery. Brady wanna cry when the ref threw the penalty. Panthers got a hot team, Patriots the enemy. Draw the first blood, different team than we used to be. Cam swerving through the traffic signal in a first down. Fans on their feet and the crowd getting really loud. Offense did a job off the field. There's a towel. Bank of America. Stadium is going down. Defense got him pushed back to the end zone. Hardy with the sack. That's a safety and we got the ball. Rushing on your shotgun. Staring at the barrel, y'all. All New England fans hear him saying that ain't fair at all. Ice up, son. What's up? Ice up, son. What's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding. Ice up, son. What's up? Ice up, son. What's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding. Better watch the linebacker, he can read you like a book. Run 40 yards just to tackle Luke. Got him shook, Toby like a tank. And D'Angelo with the fake. Stiff arm, out of bounds, 25 to game. Stewart back, healthy 3 lethal running backs. It's suicide, add the wide receivers, it's a rout. Secret weapon, make plays, Greg Olsen, make it happen. Keep pounding on these haters, we ain't playing John Madden. Legion of the hometown, go boom. Force and fumble, Panthers making sure the ball is loose. Jack move, Charles Johnson, yeah, he will come attack you. State of mind, mentally and physically, we pass you. Godfrey in the nickel back, and he making sure we're safe. Panthers on the prowl, we gon' come and elevate the state. Hard fought thriller, only 59 seconds left. Panther fans on the feet, heart beating out the chest. Ice up, son, what's up? Ice up, son, what's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding. Ice up, son, what's up? Ice up, son, what's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding. Ice up, son, what's up? Ice up, son, what's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding. Ice up, son, what's up? Ice up, son, Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding.
What is up, Keep Pounding crew? We're back for days 3 and 4 on this day off of training camp. I apologize for being a little bit late, but hey, we're here. We are here. let's go. How is everybody feeling on this fine day? Hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that bell, select all, leave a comment down below if you feel like doing so. And don't forget to check out the Facebook page, the Facebook group page. Keep pounding in all caps for in-game posts, polls, opinions, and reactions to NFL news, as well as schedules for the channel and for the Yahoo Sports Fantasy Football League. Before we get into the content, let's talk about that Fantasy Football League. We've got the Real Sunchild and Lock Poppy in the chat. Football is finally back, brother. Let's go. The Real Sunchild says, amen, brother. Amen. Lock Poppy says, yes, sir. That's the type of energy we want to start this stream with. Let's go. Let's see. All right. So the Yahoo Sports Fantasy Football League. We are talking about one spot open for the Keep Pounding League, which we will be doing a raffle for. Once we get everybody that's interested in the raffle. We will be doing that raffle at the end of training camp. As for Ill City, the other league, which you could play for a ring, the owner of that league, R. Brian Washington, is going to be putting his people in first. My people are going in second, and then we're going to open it up to public chat, to get the rest of the people in. So we will let you know when that is open to the public. For now, we're just looking for that one spot on the Keep Pounding League raffle. So come on down. If you're interested in it, go check out the Facebook group page pin post that is related to that. Or in the chat below. Or in the comment section below. There's several ways you can let me know that you're interested. Preferably during live streams. That way I can count you, immediately. Alright. Days 3 and 4. I apologize for my lateness. I could only stream as much as I was able, so. But we're going to catch up on everything today. We've got days 3 and 4 today. And we've got the press conferences as well. So let's kind of get into those today. I will be at Fan Day tomorrow in person in Death Valley. So if you guys want to visit me and hang out with me, come say hi tomorrow. Please do. I'm very approachable, especially at events like this. Come say hi, and please do be aware I will be taking notes on the practices, so please make sure that you allow me to take those notes, as needed while we are talking. Another thing that came in is the Sam Mills jersey. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I got a Sam Mills jersey. The man that this channel is named after. And honoring him. So, I feel very blessed to own one of these jerseys, and it's an honor and a privilege for the man that created this mantra and the name of this channel and why we are all here. So, full on respect to Sam. We miss you, sir. Keep pounding. All right, so I want to say one more thing. My thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that is struggling right now, that is going through any type of issues right now. The Keep Pounding family is with you. Stay strong. Endure. And keep pounding through it. You will get through it. Brighter days are ahead. All right. Let's get into the content, shall we? Give me one momento. There we go. And we shall get on with it. 19 hours away from FanFest, as you can see, in Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina. So let's see what's going on with this training camp. What news do we have? So I'm assuming. Okay, this is from the 29th. Perfect. This is what we're looking for. Alright, so pads went on Monday. Here's a little bit of what went on. The physicality got tougher. Everybody is competing harder. They're pushing harder. So here we go. This is what everybody's been waiting for. Let's see. Corbett said something about pads and stuff. It's not important. To be honest, it's not really that important that I cover that. But credit to Austin Corbett because, when the pads come on, he is a lot tougher out there. And it makes his job a lot easier. A lot of this is Corbett. Okay. Okay, Dave Canales said on Monday, I think the teams that play well into the season, especially towards the end, are the ones that can run the football and who can stop the run. I would agree with that. I've noticed that as well. That commitment to me is the formula that I've seen work to make us competitive. Interesting. Okay, so that's what made you competitive in Tampa Bay when you were building that roster. All right, I got you. It challenges both sides of it. When you can, as a defense, when you force a team to pass, when you create good opportunities, as an offense, you can run the ball when you need to, especially as a mixer for sure if it opens up explosive plays, but finishing games running the ball, there's nothing better when you're just able to continue to pound it. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we've had games where we've been decently ahead to where we could just run the ball and run out the clock. Am I going to FanFest? Yes, I am, Lock Poppy. I will be there. Please do say hi if you're in South Carolina. Circle of Toughness is what he called. Dave Canales calls it. Okay. Robert Hunt versus Derek Brown. Okay. The interior trio that Hunt called a work in progress. Okay. Whatever we do, it's full speed and we're just playing football. Okay. From what I had heard, Bryce actually did pretty well on Monday. And I didn't hear anything about Andy Dalton. I didn't hear anything about the wide receivers, really, to be honest. It was more about the tight end work and just building chemistry. But I learned very little from Monday. You know, I wasn't exactly paying attention to Twitter. You know, I had other stuff going on. And other responsibilities to deal with. But including getting ready for Charlotte. But I did hear that. I believe we made some moves as well on Monday. And I'm double checking on that because team. Let me check the transactions because those should have gone in. The 30th. We put Rashad Penny on reserve retired list. So, Penny did retire. So we added a running back today to replace him. That's Dylan Johnson, who was in the Titans camp earlier this offseason. And he was also with the Washington Commanders and I believe one other team. And I don't recall who it was, but originally from the Washington Huskies college, University of Washington, where he racked up about 1,000 yards. So, I think it's a good choice. I like it. We added 4 players on Friday, back together Saturday. Let's see what we did. Kimoko Toure, tight end Felipe Franks, cornerback DeAndre Thomas, and wide receiver Devin Carter. I think I covered them, yes. So, we also started working out. We signed somebody, didn't we? We signed, Tavion Robinson. We signed Tavion Robinson when Penny went on reserve retired list. So, for those that are not aware of who Tavion Robinson is, this dude's been on my radar ever since the beginning of the draft process. He ended up undrafted. He's from Kentucky. He's one of those excellent wide receivers from that group. And, you know, the NFL Pro Football Focus says that his hands were a 59%. No. Try again. That dude's hands are ridiculous. I don't know what game these people were watching or who was scouting him that day. But no, they must have caught him on an off day because that dude has hands. I'm very familiar with him. I was watching him since the Kentucky days. I know exactly who Tavion Robinson is. So, just to kind of give you an idea. Here we go. Tavion Robinson. Let's see if we can get some numbers. He was also on the Baltimore Ravens roster as well. So just to give you that that information. Here's Spot Track. So we signed him for $795K. In cap hit, $798 next year. In cap hit. But it's $795 total. And that's easy. That's easy money that we could pay. You know, I like that. I really like that. I think this dude is going to ball out. I think he's going to become a stud for us. He even had a punt return for a touchdown in Kentucky. So, I mean, the dude can ball. There's no question about that. He doesn't have any NFL statistics because he didn't stay with the Baltimore Ravens long enough. He was in their training camp. But if you go back and you look at his college numbers, that's where things get interesting. Let's see. Stats. So this dude's only 23 years old. 5'11". And, you know, we're going to use him just like Kentucky did, as a punt returner and as a wide receiver. So Sports Reference says that during his time at Virginia Tech before he transferred in 2021 to 2022, you know, you're still looking at a high average over 12 every single year. You had 5 touchdowns on his last year with Virginia Tech, 3 in 2020, and 1 as a freshman. But, you know, this is, you're talking 592 yards 2020, 559 in 2021. This is off of less than 50 receptions throughout the year. Less than 50. So to paint the picture, you know, and these are yards from scrimmage. 606, 640. And even as a freshman, 536 with a touchdown. That's before he even went to Kentucky. And he continued his dominance. 497 when he moved over to Kentucky. 552 just this past year before he entered the draft. 4 touchdowns. You know, 2 rushing attempts for 12 yards. So 43 plays from scrimmage. All of these, you know, are consistent numbers. You know, and all of these touchdowns came from scrimmage. Again, 40 receptions, 41 receptions. So in total, you're talking about 194 receptions, 2,604 yards, 13.4 average, 16 touchdowns. You know, 39 rushing attempts for 277 yards, 7.1 average. So yes, the man can run. He can overpower some people. He's got strength. He's got endurance. You know, and he racked up 233 yards doing it. You know, from scrimmage. You know, this is a baller right here. Let's take a look at his punt and kick returns. So this is mainly punt return. So you're talking about in 2021, a man that had 24 punt returns for 328 yards and a touchdown. Good grief. You know, Kentucky kind of tapered him off a little bit, you know, and split time with somebody, but you're still looking at 15 punt returns for 83 yards. That's 5.5 average. So, at the end of the day, man, that's some solid numbers. You looking at somebody that can ball, dude. This dude has the potential to make the 53-man roster, if not practice squad. I'm saying it now. He has a chip on his shoulder after leaving Baltimore. So do I believe that he will make a push for the 53? Absolutely, I do. So for people that are stagnant down there at the bottom of the roster below TMJ and Mingo right now, be aware. You're about to have some heat on you. And it's going to cause one of you to get dropped off. One or two of you. When we do roster cuts. Because this dude will make it past those cuts. And for under $800K, are you kidding me? We just got a baller for a steal amount of money. I guarantee you once he makes that 53, he's going to want more money. So, be aware of that. Felipe Franks, you should probably recognize him. Ugh, excuse me. He's been through our training camps before. He did get cut because we had too many tight ends. But yes, he was there. But I think we should talk about the elephant in the room, which is Sam Franklin Jr. And that's getting into today. And a little bit of yesterday as well. So he went down with a foot injury. And we released him after being injury prone. I don't know about you, but there goes our safety depth. And I'm not feeling too confident in what we're looking at right now with that safety depth. Because you're now asking Jamie Robinson, a guy that we know barely little about, to step in. And you're hoping one of these training camp invitees gets the job done for you. You know, and steps up. Such as Alex Cook, Jordan Fuller. Nick Scott we've had, but you're talking about Mr. Richardson, Damani Richardson as well. He fits into that too. So, it's going to be a battle between those three. Who takes Sam Franklin's spot? Because I guarantee you they're still going to move Jamie Robinson up. But it's going to be a battle for that fourth spot. For safety depth. And I don't know about you. But I'm betting on Nick Scott to take that fourth spot. That's what I'm feeling right now. This dude's been through the system already. He knows what's expected of him. He's been doing this before. So I do feel like Nick Scott will take that spot. We didn't release Sam Franklin? I heard we did. I know it takes like 24 hours to show up on the transactions page. Sometimes 2 days. So I get why it's not there. But we didn't release him? Okay, so this came from a reliable source. It was an official source, that was reporting it. And occasionally these people can get one wrong. So I'm not doubting that they may have gotten this one wrong. But yeah, we would be foolish to let this guy go. You know. And he's not injury prone. He really isn't. I mean, yeah, the foot injury will set us back, you know, because he's out through week 4, I believe, right? Of the regular season. This is based on what I'm hearing. See, this is what you get when I'm not able to attend. You know, when you move it up to Charlotte, I miss out on a lot of information that I need. You know, and normally I'm on top of it like that, you know, but we're having to rely on all the different news reports, and I'm having to keep an eye on Twitter and this, that, and the third, you know, and it's like, thanks, Tepper. You know, come on, man. Way to make my job harder. But, you know, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this is what it is. You know, we got to make lemonade out of this situation. So, I'm not thrilled with it, but it is what it is. So you're saying we did not get rid of Sam Franklin. Okay. In that case, Sam Franklin would get that second spot when he gets healthy. So then J.B. Robinson or Nick Scott would take over that spot currently. And then it would be one of the depth pieces, you know, that are fighting for a spot. And honestly, I'm not sure which one of those guys would win. I'd bet on Nick Scott before I'd bet on the rest. Yeah, I don't know. I heard it from an official source, so. And my team does not, you know, fool around with this stuff. Everything they get is from an official source. Otherwise, they don't talk to me about it, you know. So I will message them about that tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know in the live stream on the way up to Clemson about that. Or well, not on the way up to Clemson, but afterwards, because I'm not doing car streams anymore. I refuse to do car streams because it's plain dangerous. You know what I'm saying? It's dangerous, and I'm not doing it. So, I apologize to anyone that enjoyed those, but we're gonna have to put that on the shelf. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, once I have that information, I'll let you guys know in the next stream that I do. That's really the main highlights. Except for the fight. Okay, yeah, we need to talk about the fight that happened in camp yesterday, if you want to call it that. So, we have been matching Jadeveon Clowney against Taylor Moton and Icky on different drills. And I think this is a really, really good thing because it tests both of these gentlemen, you know, that are weak on our offensive line. It pretty much just says either you're going to make it or you're going to break it. You're going to stay stagnant, you know? You're either going to float or you're going to sink. Which one are you going to do? And if you float, awesome. That means we've got, you know, 4 or 5 solid offensive linemen for the year. Starting offensive linemen. I didn't say anything about depth. I said starting linemen. Don't get it confused. Because we still only have 2 solid depth pieces that I really feel like we can count on. And that's Brady Christensen and Cade Mays. Beyond that, I don't know about the rest. I'd have to take a look at them. And each year is different from the next, you know. Some of these guys do well in one year, and then the next year drop like a rock. So, or flip-flop, if you got a good coach coming in. So, the fact remains, it's a good thing that Clowney is being tested against these guys. It shows them, you know, you have to make those moves. You have to change your footing. You have to make adjustments. Otherwise, you will lose that matchup. Period. And that's what Dave Canales is trying to teach these 2 gentlemen. You have to do this, or you will lose the battle. Over and over and over against veteran guys. And I'm glad we have a veteran testing them. Not just any veteran, but Clowney. Because Clowney's seen it all. Okay, this dude has seen any type of blocking move that you can put out there as an offensive lineman. He's been in the league long enough. So you're not going to fool the man. Okay. If he sees even a foot off balance, he's going to take advantage of that in pads. And that's exactly what he did. And he made a tough tackle against Chuba Hubbard, one that was very dangerous, supposedly, where it knocked the wind out of him. But, I mean, this is typical of training camp. You get hard hits like that all the time to knock the wind out of a player. It took him a minute to get up, but he did. You know, and now he's back up. So, here's where the problem began. Icky was not happy about how roughly Clowney decided to tackle Chuba. Thus, why that huge fight started. Now, you're going to have fights in training camp. That's typical. Yes, that to some people that embodies, you know, chemistry and players backing each other up, which is good, you know, but you want to try to turn that energy into something healthy. Where I've got a problem with this is we're talking about Icky, who has already had trouble with blocking assignments so far. And is going into 2024 again struggling with a new head coach that really knows what he's doing and is trying to reteach footing and hands and technique. But for some reason, Icky is turning that frustration of not being able to learn this into, oh, hey, I'm going to back my guy up. You know? And turn this mountain into this little small push into a mountain of trouble. That's where I got an issue here. I don't like hot tempers in training camp. I don't like that. Because that says to me you're impatient and you're looking to start a fight. Now, in Steve Smith's case, that was a good thing because the man could back it up. And he didn't do anything to really cause himself any trouble back in the day. You know, Cam with his egotistical self, of course, you know, stirred up some anger himself, you know, from defensive players. In particular, Josh Norman back in the day. But, you know, this is typical. You see one of these probably once a year, you know, from competitive players. That's a good and healthy thing. But the problem is when you start taking that energy and you're putting it into an unproductive way after the play was over. What I want to see is Icky put that energy into the very next play instead of backing up Chuba and causing a ruckus. Put that energy into the next play. Here's how I would approach it if I was Dave Canales. Now, I'm not the coach. I'm not the general manager. I'm not anything. I'm just a fan. But this is how I would approach it. I would turn that into positive energy. I would stop everybody, and I would have those two line up against each other, Icky and Clowney. And I would say, okay, now show me that energy that you just showed me right there, Icky, against Clowney. Show me again. But during a drill this time. I want to see it. You know, I know this is going to sound cliche, but I'm going to make a reference to a cartoon. All right? So if you guys have ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, you know, Aang's trying to learn earthbending. He can't figure it out. He's too airheaded. And it goes against his natural element. So Toph says, okay, you stood your ground against me. Now earthbend. And that's exactly what I want Icky to do. Now block. You stood your ground against Clowney. Now block. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to put that same energy into every play of this training camp. And block. That's how we're going to solve the problem with Icky. And I want everybody in that training camp to watch that. Because that's how it's done. That's how you relight a fire in these guys. To want to do better. Because they're so frustrated and pissed off that they put that energy into the wrong thing. And you say, hold up, let's put it into the right way. Let's create something new. A positive way to use that energy. You stood your ground against one of the most dominant pass rushers. When you weren't even... This was after the play. You stood your ground. You pushed him. You became bullheaded. Now, I want to see that same energy on these training camp drills. Show me that from here on out. Because now we know you can do it. Now we know you have that in you. Show me that on plays. Show me that on Sundays. That's how you solve it. And it takes a different approach sometimes to get to these guys and get in their heads. It takes a different way of doing things sometimes. You have to be innovative. But when you're able to find that spark within these players, you have to find a different way for them to use it rather than in a negative way. So, Dave, that's my suggestion to you. At FanFest, I want to see you do that. If these guys try that again, try that method. I guarantee you it will work. Tell Icky, okay, now block. You know? Okay, now that you're pissed off, now block. During regular drills. Thankfully, nobody got hurt, nobody got injured, you know, and it was just a little scuffle. You know, it's typical of training camp. But this is the fire I've been waiting to see from Icky the entire training camp. I've been waiting for that frustration to boil out. Same with Taylor Moton. I've been waiting for it. And there it is. Now use it in the right way. So that's my feeling on that, you know? Yeah, that fight was really nobody's fault. They were just defending each other and blah, 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 blah. You know, it's defensive players coming to the aid of defensive players and yada, yada, yada. Typical training camp fight. You know? But what I want to see is that energy, that spark put towards good use from here on. Okay, now that you've shown that you're pissed off, now that you let those frustrations boil out, remember what that felt like and put that into every single drill. But do those drills cleanly, without penalties, and watch the results. I guarantee you, you will see a difference within 3 days. If you don't, I'll give you your money back. I'm just kidding. This isn't an infomercial. But still, my point is, you'll see the difference. But yeah, I'm very excited to have Tavion Robinson. I've had my eyes on this dude for the longest. So, I'm going to have my eyes on him during training camp too. On the 5th and 6th. If this dude survives that long, which I know he will. I know he will. I don't even have to guess that he will. I know he will. I guarantee you the Ravens only cut him at the last second. You know, as they were cutting down to their 53. He was probably one of the last 20 cuts. I wouldn't doubt it. So, as of currently, you're looking at just under $5 million in cap space after that move. Nope, still 6.1 mil. Okay, 6.1 mil. Third lowest in the NFL right now. Only the Ravens and Falcons are lower than us, 5.4 and 3.4. Somehow the Saints are still in the black with 11.8, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like, does that make sense to anybody? That makes no sense to me. These guys have been in the red for as long as I can remember. Their GM doesn't know what he's doing, and it puts them in the red every single year. And then they have a fire sale to try to get the money back. You know, all these good players go out to the rest of the teams. Somehow, they go on a shopping spree with all that money, and they end up in the red again. I mean, it's just a repeating cycle with the Saints. So, somehow they've got 11.8 right now. How that happens, I don't know. I'm not even going to try to dig into that rabbit hole, but somehow they are. Some of the fans that we've had through here include the Bears, who have 12.2 right now. We've had Niners fans. You guys are still sitting on 52.2. And you guys have that team right now still? Incredible. That's That's quite something. I don't know who owns the Niners, but that guy's got to be rich. I'm honestly not even sure. But that's insane. Hey, Arizona, you got 35.3. Why are you not spending that money and trying to make your team better? I mean, I'm just saying. You spent 212.4 this year, and your team still sucks. I'm just calling it like I see it. The Lions, however, with 30.5, only spent 193.1, and yet this team still is playoff bound. It's going to be playoff bound again. Now tell me how this makes sense. This is proof that if you spend a ton of money, money doesn't solve your problem. Only drafting the right players does. Free agency, yeah. Everybody gets people in free agency. But drafting the correct players is the key. Look at the Lions staff. Look at who they're drafting. You want to know why the Lions are in contention every single year now? That's why. You want to know why the Jaguars are in contention now? That's why. And the Arizona Cardinals are sitting on that money. Even though they spent to the 212.4 already. And their team still isn't up to par. You can't throw money at the problem. It doesn't work. Draft correctly. And you won't have to. Look at the Chiefs. 15.4. You should be sitting right where they are. Right in the middle. Where they only had to spend 230.4. You know, which is still a considerable amount, but it's the Chiefs. They've worked their way up to that point where they've got that much money to throw around, you know, and they've consistently built their roster to where they're just rotating people now, and they're sitting right in the middle. And that's what I want Brant Tillis to help us to learn how to do, is rotate. Once we've got the depth, once we've got the starters, once we've got what we need, rotate. And that's what it's going to look like. You know, we'll probably be sitting about 180 something, you know, by the time we've gotten everything that we need. Unlike the Chiefs, you know, they've got like tons of money, you know, or, you know, flowing out the wazoo. But still, if you consider we spent 207.4, that's an average amount in the league right now. If you're looking at this column right here, this column right here that I just highlighted, those numbers, you know, 207's average. See, we're sitting right there in the middle. We still have 6.1, you know, for any type of injuries, anything like that. But it's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing. The thing that concerns me is, you know, as far as the players is concerned, yes, you're hearing about the typical players, you know, that you should be hearing about, you know, the star players like XL, people like that. But where is Chow Smith-Wade. Where are some of these other players that don't get mentioned, that are second stringers, third stringers, fourth stringers? What's going on with them? You don't hear a peep about them until they get rotated in the first string. This is why I don't like relying on everybody else's reporting. I like taking my own notes. I like staying through the whole practices and learning about each and every person that's going through our depth chart because it matters. You never know when these people might end up a starter at some point down the road. You know, look at Afiabata. He ended up as a London Exchange player. Nobody could have predicted this dude would be a starter within 3 years. But it's because he took advantage of his opportunities when he got them. He fought hard, tooth and nail, put everything out there, and he earned his spot. That's why I reference him all the time when I'm setting the bar for these training camp players, and I'm saying, who is going to be that next Afiabata? Who is going to step up and get it done? You know, who is going to become a starter within 3 to 4 years when we start replacing people and rotating? Who's it going to be? This is why you study the second stringers, the third stringers, the fourth stringers, all the way on down. You don't stop at just the first string and second string. And that's what these reporters do. They stop at the first two. They don't go any further. There's a few reporters, and give them credit where it's due, for the people that do this, that do go further. Those are the people I like reading from. Those are the people I follow, because they're going to give me detailed information. They're going to give me the most up-to-date information on these players that I need to know in order to do my job as a YouTuber and relay that information to you. And those reporters know who they are. So credit to them. You know, that's what I'm looking for. So apparently, if we're judging by numbers, Pinheiro is in the lead for the kicking job. Harrison Mevis had 7 of 10 on his tries between Thursday and Saturday. Meanwhile, you got Eddie Pinheiro hitting all 5 of his field goal attempts with a long of 52. That's what I expected to happen. You know, credit to Harrison Mevis, you know, for being really, really solid. But I believe that Eddie, at the end of the day, if he can stay healthy, will take that win. He'll get the win and get the job. But that's what I think is going to happen. I don't know for sure. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think that's what's going to happen. Based on what I know about Eddie and what I've seen of him actually in person. So, I haven't seen Harrison Mevis yet, the thicker kicker. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. I want to see him kick tomorrow. I've seen Eddie. Show me Mevis. That's who I want to learn about. All right, so I heard about Kyle, Mr. Love, up in Green Bay, getting a big contract. Now, here's my problem with that. If you've been paying attention to Green Bay quarterbacks, this is Green Bay's management softening him up, you know, giving him the lovey-doveys, and then once the man struggles for 2 to 3 years, he's going to want out of Green Bay. He'll be old enough to where he's got to make a decision. Okay, do I play 2 more years and end my career, somewhere else? Or do I just retire here in Green Bay? And play games with the management. Just like Aaron Rodgers did, and just like the famous quarterback we all love, Brett Favre. Now, what I see happening here is it's going to be a repeat. We've seen this movie before, folks, where they did the same thing to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers got pissed off because he could not get the help he needed because Green Bay just refused to help him out and get him the pieces that he needed to win and go further than that glass ceiling of just making the playoffs. And, they managed to win it 1 year. But if you're consistently in the playoffs, you can't break that glass ceiling. And you're Aaron Rodgers, you're saying, get me some help. I don't blame him for getting pissed off. Am I satisfied? Am I happy that I'm making the playoffs every single year consistently? Absolutely. But it's still frustrating as heck because you're not getting that 1 or 2 pieces that you need to finish the job, and get the Lombardi and get your ring. For all the millions of dollars that you're making, yeah, that's awesome. But it doesn't satisfy that hunger. It doesn't meet that need to get that ring. He got it once. But if he wants to be like all the rest of these greats, he's got to win it 2 or 3 times during his career. Nobody's going to be like Tom Brady and win it 5. Tom's the GOAT. Supposedly. I'm not going to get into that, but point being, you want to be the top dog in the NFL, you got to win it 2 or 3 times like Patrick Mahomes right now. That's the bar. Now, if the management is going to pay him that much, it does soften the blow. But it's coddling him as well. It's saying, oh yeah, here's some money, as compensation for not getting a ring this year. And eventually, year after year after year, you're going to get pissed off. You're going to get tired of this. You're going to get annoyed that you didn't get your ring. And that anger is going to build up and build up and build up until you want out of Green Bay. And I told you, Mr. Love, you're next. You're next on the chopping block. Green Bay has done this twice already. 2 veteran quarterbacks. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. So, at this point, what number do you guess is behind curtain number 5 that Green Bay's management is going to give you? It's just, I would be infuriated. But at the same time, you got to treat the situation with respect. Unlike Rodgers and unlike Brett Favre. Do not be like them. But also put your foot down, though. And say, I want out of Green Bay. Once you get to that point. Because it's going to happen. It will. Your career will take a downturn. You will be coming down from that mountain at some point. And you'll have a couple of years left. 2 or 3 years left. And you'll have to make a decision just like they did. And I don't know whether you take these guys' advice or not that have been in that situation already. Because they didn't handle it well. They had their own BS that they brought to the table. You know, Brett Favre didn't handle it well with his attitude, you know, and his actions. Aaron Rodgers didn't handle it well with just his attitude alone. But, you know, it became a meme after a while with Aaron Rodgers, where it's just like normal Sunday afternoon, here comes a pissed off Aaron Rodgers. Stomp, 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 stomp into the room. It's like, man, come on. If you're paying attention to Green Bay's management, can you really blame them? Can you really blame them for getting pissed off? I can't. After what he saw happen to Brett Favre and to Aaron Rodgers, yeah, to his contract, Aaron Rodgers' contract. Come on. Anybody? Can you blame him for getting pissed off? I can't. But, you know, it's Mr. Love, you're next. Good luck, buddy. You know, it's like you're the next generation. Good luck. And Green Bay, as a management, still has not solved the problem. They're still doing it. So, I mean, not that that's any of our business because we're the Panthers, you know, but at some point, if we end up with a broken quarterback from Green Bay, it becomes our problem. You know, because we have the last 2 or 3 years of that man's career, you know, on our contract roster. That's why I'm pointing this stuff out, because I need people to understand these situations happen before they come to Carolina. Not after, before. So it's important to understand the situations before we sign these people in order to make the correct decisions on what we want to do with our roster and our money. That's why I'm making such a big deal out of this and making time for this. So, it is important. Is there... I know that Thomas Davis has been in the news lately saying a lot of things. Cam Newton's made himself available to Bryce. Some of the veterans have come out and offered their assistance to our players, which shows me that we're going in the right direction. These are former players that have been on that Super Bowl team, that have been, you know, on this roster during winning seasons and successful seasons, you know, offering advice. And that's what I like, man, because those people are the ones you want to listen to. These guys are veterans. They've seen everything. They've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and the, oh my God, it's Matt Rule. You know? So, they've seen everything. You know, my whole thing is like, that's how you know you're going in the right direction and you're doing the things that are necessary to get done as a head coach, Dave. Like, shout out to you, Dave. Excellent job. And situations just like that can't fight are situations to learn how to do things properly and put that energy into a better way of using it. You know, you're going to have fights. You're going to have pushing and shoving matches. That's going to happen at camp. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying that's a teachable moment. Use it. Okay, you're pushing and shoving these guys as an offensive lineman, and you weren't blocking before. Now block. Do it. Block. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and that energy will continue to flow throughout the entire camp to every position now. Because you've shown them how to use that energy in the right way as a head coach. So you'll see the linebackers get fired up. I mean, Chase Young was one of them, right? He backed up Kwani. Okay, now you're going to see Chase Young go harder. You're going to see all these players go harder because you taught them how to use that energy in a more positive way. You know, and I'm surprised the college coaches aren't doing this. I wouldn't doubt that Dabo does it down in Clemson. But, and speaking of Clemson, this is a time to learn from Clemson as far as their success and take that with us to Charlotte. Those 2 national championship trophies, how do you think we got them? As a Clemson fan, how do you think we got them? These guys didn't just do this by standing on their hands. They worked hard, blood, sweat, and tears throughout the whole year. And even when they had a bad year, this team still managed to get 9 wins against some really, really tough competition. Even when they sucked, they still succeeded. Why? Grit, determination, endurance. Those are teachable qualities that you take with you to Charlotte and instill into this training camp. From every player on down the roster. So, and asking Dabo for advice on coaching stuff too is helpful. Please do. The dude's won 2 national championships, and he studied under Nick Saban, who won multiple championships in Alabama. Learn from the man. You know, take what you can with you. Take it with you. I'm going to do an entire thing about that tomorrow, on tomorrow's stream. Because it's important. You know, and I said the same thing when Clemson came into the building in Bank of America Stadium for the ACC Championship. Every year that they did and competed in it. I said, okay, here's a learning experience for you. Watch these guys. Stay in the building during this ACC Championship and watch them. Watch how they play. Watch how they execute. Watch the technicality. Watch the discipline and the attention to detail. Those are the qualities I need to see in the Panthers roster. And under Matt Rule and Frank, we forgot how to do that. Because neither one of those coaches understands those qualities. Neither one. And you can't prove to me otherwise. But when you hear Dave Canales speak, he understands this. It's clear as day he understands this. And we're going to hear him speak in a little bit. And I want you to take that knowledge I just gave you, that tidbit of knowledge, and think about it. Apply that to his press conferences. And he will show you how intelligent he is. It's a difference. Massive difference. It's like night and day. And Thomas Davis explained the Cam Newton effect. You know. You got the veterans out there. Okay. Let's see if we can break down this play right here. Offensive line looks good. Looks like a corner route towards the sideline. Look at the separation. Excellent job, XL. It's a drag. He has a toe drag catch. So, and if you look at that video, we're going to watch the offensive lineman. If I can slow this down. Okay, Taylor and Icky are both in on this play. Right there and right there in blue. Watch their footwork, watch their hands. Okay. Taylor Bowden's already engaging in a double team here. Icky backs up 2 feet. Now see, that's what you don't want to see. Stop backing up. Engage the defender. Don't let him into the backfield. If you back up 2 feet, you've already lost ground. That's what I keep trying to tell these offensive linemen. If you keep backing up, as soon as the ball is snapped, you've already lost 2 feet of ground. That allows the defender back into the backfield even easier if you're not holding with your pure strength. Now, if you've got the pure strength and you've got the proper footwork, once you settled, then okay, I don't have a problem with that. But Icky does not know how to do that because he doesn't have the upper body strength to hold out these veteran people like Clowney. That's a problem. That means you've already lost 2 feet of ground. Already right off the jump. That's the stuff I'm trying to show these guys, man. That's footwork, that's hands. That's upper body strength, that's technical stuff. That's stuff I need to be in person and see for myself to be able to judge whether we are making progress there or not. Those little things like that. You can't get that from a news source that doesn't show you any clips and just has their own notes, unless they're really detailed. No, that's the stuff you can't see. And I'm a very detailed person. I'm hungry for that stuff. You know, and I'm looking for that stuff. And I recognize some of these people are visual learners. So that's why I'm trying to put as much tape onto these YouTube streams as I can, so that you guys can learn from it as well as, you know, and see it. Not just like hear me talk about it, but see it in action, what I'm talking about specifically. Because if you're not seeing it physically, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. Sometimes. And that's one of those things. That's why I like doing these live reactions to the actual regular season games, because here you guys are watching it on Fox just the same as I am. You're watching it live right there in front of you. So when you see stuff like that, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and it's not going to go over your head. The game becomes slower for you. It becomes more practical and more realistic and more technical at that point. So, but yeah. Let's do some press conferences. I think we covered everything else, right? Is there anything I missed, Lock Poppy, that you feel needs to be addressed? I'll let you let me know, as I'm queuing this up. So I'm going to kind of start from the start of training camp with these media clips. That way we make sure that we hit everything we need to hit here. All right, so 6 days ago, let's start with Dave Canales. All right. Headphones on, sound on. And away we go.
Excellent. So day 2, just the feeling I get is the guys understanding what we're trying to get out of practice, the tempo of it, in between drills, just being quickly to get set up. So I felt that energy today. Offensively, what a great day to deal with a little bit of rain, to deal with a little bit of weather early on in practice, to really heighten the awareness of the ball security, which we're harping on anyway. But we had a couple of drops. We had a ball get punched out. And just the...
Okay. So he is talking about when we had the rain. And the defense became more aggressive. And we worked on ball security. This was day 2, I believe, or day 3? I believe it was day 3. But I want to say it's day 3. So that's good. He talks about the tempo, and that's an important thing to focus on as well. Lock Poppy says, unless you didn't talk about the new running back we signed today from Washington. I did briefly cover him. I don't know that much about him, but what I do know is he cleared about 1,000 or more yards, and he's from Washington University. Other than that, I don't really know too much about him. But I'll take a look at him just like I'm taking a look at everybody else, during training camp tomorrow. I've got to look at everybody, because I've only got 3 days total to look at everybody. 2 when they're going hard up in Charlotte, and 1 during Fan Day when it's kind of a soft practice. But I'll at least be able to take a look at them and see what's going on. I'm watching for footwork tomorrow, technique, hands tomorrow. Not so much, the big plays. If I see the big plays, awesome, But what I'm looking at is those technical things. Are we making the progress that we're claiming that we're making? That's what I want to look at. I believe these guys. I believe it. But I just want to see it with my own 2 eyes. You know what I'm saying? Seeing is believing. You got 4 or 5 other YouTubers confirming it. Okay, cool. I just want to see it with my own 2 eyes. Nothing wrong with that, right? It's not that I believe they're lying. It's just I want to see it with my own 2 eyes.
The importance of that intentionality, regardless of the weather, especially when it's wet. The flip side of that, Ajero emphasizing it. He's been sick about the guys punching at the ball constantly, regardless of the drill, whether it's one-on-ones, 7-on-7, any of the team periods, and they were able to get a ball out in 7-on-7 with a late punch out after a catch where the receiver starts to relax. Those are the moments that we have to capture. So it's kind of interesting as an offensive coach, those things always kind of make my the hair rise a little bit on my neck. But to see the defense and the intentionality was like this conflicting. He's like, that's exactly what we want. It's exactly the type of football we're looking for. And then just a little taste of situational football. We had a little end of half 2-minute drive Defense won both series right there. It just comes down to execution, running the right routes, throwing and catching, and that's the part where we got to do a better job of offensively. I wasn't fired up about our execution today.
Execution. Okay, so running and catching the ball. All right. Well, you're looking at rain. That's automatically going to be an issue as far as running and catching the ball. But you can't use that as an excuse or a crutch either. You got to execute in all types of weather. This is the NFL. So whether you want to know, admit it or not, you're basically throwing a sign out there that says, okay, these guys aren't executing. They're not getting it done. And Dave is being honest with us. He's throwing out a weakness. He's not lying about it. He's being completely transparent. And it's rare these days for anybody that's a head coach that comes into Carolina that is going to be completely transparent with us. Now, you can be truthful. That's a bad thing. So let's see what else he says.
We know what to do. We know what the plays are. We're breaking the huddle, and the details are there, but we just got to throw and catch. We got to finish those plays.
Throw and catch.
And the run game, again, just another great day, stacking those days up of targeting properly, getting the running backs through the initial line of scrimmage. I was really excited about that.
Stacking these days up. Yes. That's exactly what we're looking for. The running backs running through the line of scrimmage. Yes. Every bit of yes. That's what we're looking for, guys. I'm 100% with Dave on this. This is what our new philosophy needs to be. If you want to find success, you got to stop leaving plays on the field and executing. And his philosophy is working. You can see it. Seeing is believing.
He said he wasn't too pleased with his practice yesterday. Can you talk about what you saw from him out there today?
Who was that? I'm sorry?
Xavier.
Yeah, I think, he's got a real great opportunity to go against one of the best corners in the NFL in J.C. Horn. What a great matchup to see those two go one-on-one. They didn't get a couple very many shots today, but yesterday Xavier had two opportunities against a great corner, and he kind of learned, some guys you're not going to be able to just bully and get open. You're going to have to use your skill set, your footwork, your finesse, the stems and the routes. That's where we make us. We make our team with those competitions. Think about Robert Hunt going against Derek Brown every day. Damian Lewis when he's on the other side, and you have Ashawn Robinson and Shai Tuttle and that inside group with Corbett having to battle against each other every day for a camp. That's how you become great. Our tackles having to go against Jadavian every day, and the skill set that he has. Xavier going against JC, then JC having to cover Deontay, a totally different type of mover. And so these are the matchups that we try to highlight and just show them this is how we become a great team. Iron sharpens iron. And this is how we do it.
Iron sharpens iron. Don't you just love hearing that, guys? Come on. Iron sharpens iron. That's exactly what this team has been lacking for the past 7 years. That right there. These training camps have been so lackadaisical. These guys have been getting away with all kinds of nonsense, this, that, and the third, during practices. And they're more concerned with playing ping pong in the locker room, and in the hotel in Spartanburg than actually training. And doing like hard work drills, that get you further up the depth chart. And that's what got some of these guys cut. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Iron sharpens iron. This man knows what he's doing. He knows how to sharpen up that depth chart. He knows exactly what he wants out of his 53. And it comes down to discipline, hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. How much do you want it? Finally, we have a coach that understands this. And hallelujah, it took forever. But we have it. And it's about freaking time. All right, let's go.
As the coaches, as we start to work against each other.
Love that.
So, great question.
Typically in training camp, the defense is playing ahead of the offense
Yeah.
most of the time. When Bryce today had kind of a string of like a bunch of completions. When you see that early on, how encouraging can that be for an offense, but also for an offensive-minded staff?
Yeah, I guess the way I'll say it is, it's settling for sure to know we can execute, but we can't be streaky. We got to be consistent, because there was, if you were to ask Bryce, he's going to come up here, but he's looking at those couple of plays where he didn't quite execute it the right way, so he's looking for the consistent performance throughout the entire practice, and we talk about finish, so, but it definitely settled.
Are you guys hearing this? Consistency. There's that C word again that I've been preaching about every single stream. Finish. Finish, finish, finish. And he's been stressing that during these training camp drills. Yeah, you can do the drills, but did you finish? And I know there were a couple of other streamers that pointed that out too. Good observation. That caught my attention as well.
The group to say, okay, when we function together and we're on the same page, look how good we look, so definitely.
Getting that experience today with wet ball, rain. Will there be times this year that you got to go find something else, even without an indoor facility here?
You're talking about just in terms of
wanting to get your work done and the weather not really allowing it.
Really, the only thing I can anticipate is lightning, right? We certainly can't go outside in that, so we have a plan for that. And then extreme heat, I think, how we've designed when our practices happen, we should be able to tolerate that. I think we're talking more in the afternoons, just being creative with how we get our walkthroughs done.
Back to Xavier, it did seem like he was working a lot with the ones and team drills. So is he behind because of the time he missed at the end of OTAs, or how do you explain where he is right now? Yeah,
not really behind, I guess. It's just a matter of, I would love for the guys on our team to earn their place, to earn those valuable reps, and he's getting a lot of work,
Earn those valuable reps. You heard the man. Earn your valuable reps. Work hard, earn your reps. They're not guaranteed to you. They're not given to you. Earn them. I like that. I like that right there. This is how this team is supposed to be run right here. This is how a competitive, successful team should be run. This is what gets you those wins on Sundays down the road.
But it is, there's a measure of, for all the young guys, show us you're working hard. Show us you're doing all the things the right way so that we can go in with full confidence and trust.
Show us.
So it's not a knock on him for not doing those things. It's like, keep showing us who you are and showing us what you want to do. So I think there's some good
facts.
Dave, from a
facts,
mentality
Dave.
standpoint, when you're in this wet weather, what can you learn about your guys in terms of competing even when the conditions aren't ideal?
Yeah, just watching their body language, watching the focus, making sure they look the same as they did yesterday, where we're not dealing with the wet, and all of a sudden you introduce rain, and to just watch them continue to stay focused, so that there's not this big drastic change, it's just the most minute little changes in maybe how they catch a ball, defensively.
That's a good sign.
Having your footing about you and all that. So I'm really just kind of looking for that. I just don't want to make it more than, for me, like, just go out in the same stuff I wear every day. So I'm just trying to show that to the guys, like, hey, another great practice and opportunity for us to learn something new.
What do you think big picture about the
And we never practiced out in, extreme weather. And that's the thing. Like, to the point where, like, before they would delay the practice or something like that, But it'd be heavy rain, it'd be like some type of crazy weather, that you couldn't exactly delay it, but you had to play in it. And these guys would not adapt well under prior coaching, under Matt Rule and Frank. So the fact that these guys are this focused still and coming out there and acting like it's just another day, just like it was in Spartanburg, is a good sign, moving forward, because these guys were treating this like, oh, well, it's a rainy day, it's a lazy day, let's kind of play lackadaisical, let's do the drills lackadaisical, No, this crew is different. This crew is different. And they just showed it to you. They just made a statement that they're ready to play in this type of weather, if need be. By the end of training camp, they will be ready. If they get exposed to this like 2 or 3 more times, they'll be ready for it. I want it to happen. Let it rain in Charlotte. Because us fans are going to be under a canopy. And we'll get to watch it, So, my friend's ringtone. But, yeah. Let it rain, man. I want to watch what these guys do. I want to see how they adapt in person myself and just see how it happens. Are you going to adapt with your hands? Are you going to adapt with your feet? Technical skills, footing. What are you going to do? I want to watch and I want to see this, because that's how we grow as a team. And we just experienced that for the first time, during training camp. And these guys were that focused already. Excellent sign that we're growing and progressing in the right way. Excellent. And these guys focused on their fundamentals. They used it as a training exercise for ball security and punching the ball out. Love it. When have you ever seen Ron Rivera do that? When have you ever seen Frank do that? When have you ever seen Matt Rule do that? Never. They never did that. They never turned that practice into specifically that type of drill. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we've got in Dave Canales. This dude is different. He is built differently. And he's showing you that as a head coach. And I love it. This is beautiful. Let's continue.
Defense. You went back and watched last year's games you talked about. Will this year look different than that defense based on some of those pretty drastic differences in personnel?
I think we should. I think offensively, defensively, this isn't just about Panthers 2024. Everywhere I've been, every year is a little bit different. You have different pieces up front, outside in the skill spots on both sides of the ball. And I think that what I've learned about our staff on both sides is the commitment and a willingness to find who we are this year, and to continue to
identity.
Move forward and press into the things we do well with the new group. So I would say, yeah, to an extent, yes, there will be some things we'll do differently based on having new people. But there are those core tenets that we believe in that will come to life in one way or another.
You think that this group has a chance to be really good in?
My hope and my heart is that we're able to run the ball with efficiency, and that we're able to stop the run. So to do that, that's to me historically the best teams I've been on have an ability to control that part of the game. In the pass game, as we all know, it's harder. And so the run game, just making sure we spend that time invested in it.
Backing off that, besides JC, what gets you fired up about the secondary and what you've seen so far?
The communication. Troy Hill, he just has been in this system so much. I love watching him because he's also teaching me as I learn the system where the nickel belongs in different spots, and how you can play leverages on different calls. But also, you talk about Nick Scott, Jordan Fuller, Xavier Woods in his second year in the system, Alex Cook, second year in the system. These are guys that have a high level of communication, and the way they're talking to each other and tying in the back half has been really impressive. And then, of course, I can't, talk about the experience without talking about Josie Jewell, who's been in this system. Shaq now in his second year in the system, and to see that communication happen and the influence that has on the whole group and the young guys we're adding into the group. So I'm really excited about some of those things too, just from an experience and a communication standpoint.
He keyed on communication right there. And communication is everything. I remember there were 2 or 3 years in between 2016 and 2020 where we had no communication whatsoever. On the defense, on the offense, anywhere. And it was just horrendous. People had no idea what they were doing. The signal calling was so bad. You guys remember it. You guys remember the years I'm talking about. And for him to key in on the word communication is everything. Especially in the secondary. Because if you're able to communicate, you're able to do your job better. It's as simple as that. And does it bother me that the defense is a good bit stronger than the offense at this point? No. Doesn't bother me. It just means we got to work harder on offense and get them to catch up a little. But it also means good things for the defense because the defense is going to be sitting in there and doing well this year if they continue this pattern. So these healthy patterns that they're taking.
Fuller, we didn't see him out there.
So that's a good
Tommy
thing.
Came later. Can you update us on both of those guys?
Just a family deal for Jordan, so I'll just keep that to that. And then, Tommy, we had to shut Tommy down. He was starting to experience some tightness in his hamstring, so we wanted to make sure we get ahead of it. Instead of trying to nurse him through a bunch of days, let's get him really healthy, and let's have him come back to us the way we know he can be.
There's some pass rushers out there today. Did you stick around for the workouts? What'd you see? And then is that a need given some of the injuries to DJ and Amare?
Joe, I don't want to comment on the post-practice workout just for the sake of, our information and all that. But I will say, we're always looking to improve and
Hey, the fact that he did not comment on that speaks volumes right there. We got a man that knows and understands when to be transparent and when to keep your trap shut when it comes to information. Very intelligent answer. Good job, Dave.
To compete with our roster, we have a good group of outside backer, rush defensive ends. Really counting on DJ, really counting on K-Levon, Chason. We'll get DJ Wanham back at some point when he's healthy, with Clowney. That's a pretty good group right there. So now we're looking at who else can help us, and we'll be really aggressive with doing that.
A quick follow.
Now, do you guys remember Matt Rule just giving away the store? I do. I mean, I'm just saying. Frank had no idea what he was doing and was spouting out at the mouth. So, half the stuff he would tell us is a car salesman lie. And the other half is probably true. But, you got to take it with a grain of salt because you don't know what's really going on unless you've been at the training camps and watching. Or at the practices, in between Sundays. So, it's a lot of nonsense, you know what I mean? But I'm just sitting there like, okay. Okay. And Dave understands when to close the vault door. You know what I'm saying? He gets it. There's no secrets that are going to get out that vault door. maybe one or two every once in a while, but nothing he can't control and mitigate. You know what I mean? And talk his way out of. You know, if he screws up, which is going to be very rarely. So, for all the gatekeepers out there that want to throw Dave under the bus, you know, already, and say, "Oh, this dude's telling the story. He's telling them everything." No, he's not. No, he's not. That right there is proof of it. He just showed you he knows when to close the gate door. So, stop gatekeeping the man. Let's continue.
Oh, different deal. How long will you give Eddie and Harrison kind of equal kicks?
I don't know. I think we'll just keep alternating the days. Harrison had a really good day, missed a long one. Eddie kicked great yesterday, so let's just bring this out. You know, I learned this from Pete. It's like, don't make the decision until the last possible time that you have to, so you can just keep gathering information. The evaluation process continues, so I'd like to drag that out as long as possible to be able for them to show us what they can do.
I feel like he's going to do that with the rest of the roster as well at the different positions, which is a very intelligent way to do things. And it worked out really well for Pete Carroll. And I think it'll work out really well for Dave as well.
Having been back in the... I'm sorry, Alex.
Dave, what did you see from Bryce in terms of getting the ball out quickly today? 2.7 seconds has been a number that you've been throwing around. Are you happy with how he's getting the ball out?
Yes, and then I'm really excited about the way he's extending plays. We had some great pass rushes today. We had some pressures that we got to iron out, and it was pretty difficult, you know, on the offensive line a couple times today. And so when those plays happen, it's like, okay, second play now, you know. So I was excited to see him extend and find some nice completions, you know, outside the pocket even too. It's going to happen at times, you know. So so that both things kind of fit in, you know. Be on time, and then once the time's over, how can we teach our offensive guys to continue to find work? The ball finds energy. The ball finds energy, so the guy who breaks to the hoop, he's usually the one that gets the tip in, right? So trying to teach.
The ball finds energy. I like that. I like where he's going with that. Very intelligent statement right there. Because it makes perfect sense. If you're watching basketball, it makes sense. The ball finds energy. You know. It requires the tip in, you know, it requires, you know, a push to get it into the hoop from a 3-point range. You know, it's and from a jumper spot. The ball finds energy from the person that's pushing it. Very intelligent statement right there. I like that. And it can be applied to the NFL too. In various different ways. Running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks. You know, I like that. Very smart, Dave.
Teach that mentality to our guys.
With the guys having been back in the building only a couple of days now, how important is your strength and conditioning staff this time of year, just to kind of tell you where guys are at or where they need to get to?
Invaluable. Not just from a physical standpoint, they have a great plan for the load in a training camp. They've been doing this for a long time now together. But beyond that, it's Andrew Altoff, it's Jeremy, it's the whole entire strength staff echoing the messaging of our program, the things we're looking for, the effort, the enthusiasm. They're being jacked up when they receive these guys at whatever time they come in to work out, that they have such great energy. Great, now we get to do this work, you know, and really being able to echo that so that we're all connected, so that we're all speaking the same language. And I've seen them do that in spades. Is just to love the guys, be excited about the work. Hey, practice is over. I know you're tired. Look what we get to do now, you know. So having that mentality of another opportunity to improve our team. They've been doing a fantastic job.
Excellent. I love that he's encouraging these guys, you know, even after the post practices, to push yourself as another opportunity. Fantastic. You know, that's something we don't really have as far as post-practice workouts and stuff. These guys used to just slug it out, a bunch of reps. They got their reps done and then they're done, They follow their training campaign, and their workout campaign, and then they're done for the day. It's like, another boring day, But Dave Canales teaches these guys to get excited about these opportunities, get energized, get motivated, get fired up. And it's a beautiful freaking feeling because you don't see that anymore from head coaches in the NFL. You need a head coach that's fired up just as much as you want these players fired up in order to get these types of results. And this dude is exactly that.
Mingo seems to have really stepped up in his second year a little bit. What have you noticed? You used to work with receivers a lot, so what have you noticed in his progression?
Confidence. Confidence comes with just knowing what we're doing, the plays. He learned how to play in the NFL, how to prep on a week-to-week basis, and you just can see it in his play. When he shows up and he's all of his size, he's all of his speed, he's such a smart guy, he's conscientious. I just really feel a great confidence about him coming into this camp, and I'm excited to see what he does. Thank you.
Coach.
Confidence. Okay. Okay. I like where this is going. Alright, so let's go. Okay, that's the trailer for it. I want the pressers. There we go. Let's see Deontay Johnson real quick.
Zaxby's new chicken finger tacos.
I'm probably not going to watch the whole thing, but
ranch, and one's got avocado ranch.
let's just see what he talks about here.
How was day 2?
It was good. Still got a lot of work to do, but we can just continue to take it one day at a time. First day we had a real solid day. Like I said, it wasn't the best practice in my opinion, but we can just keep building off of it, keep steady growing as a unit, offensively and defensively.
What could have been? What were some improvements when you say not the best?
Just a little more urgency from an offensive standpoint. We had some good plays, not so good plays, but it's gonna happen. It's football. Everybody not perfect, so just build off that. Continue to learn from each other. We're gonna build off that.
It looks like that the chemistry between you and Bryce is like coming along. Is that something that you can kind of sense the longer you're out there on the field? Is there like a moment that clicks, or is it just kind of continues to grow?
Good question.
I feel like our relationship steady growing. Once I got here, OTAs or when I first practiced or whatnot, we clicked instantly. We steady growing with each other. We watch film together outside of practice and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to get in the playbook with him and see like what he's looking at on certain things, and so I can be on the same page with him.
Very good.
For the growing sessions?
No, I was not.
When you make a mistake or somebody else makes a mistake on the team in camp, do you like that opportunity that it potentially creates to learn from it? Is that something you kind of focus on at all? Like you mentioned, it wasn't the best practice. If you fumble a ball or you drop a pass or you run the wrong route or have a communication issue, how do you deal with that? How do you go back to the huddle and kind of salvage that?
Excellent question.
Think about it for a little bit and you let it go. Because at the end of the day, like I said, you're not perfect, so you just can learn from it, figure out what you can do to not make that mistake again, and go back and look at the tape and make the corrections that you need to make, and go out the next day and make the right decisions when that situation happens. That's how I look at it.
Excellent answer. That's exactly what you're supposed to do as a player. Yes. Excellent answer, Deontay. I like him.
Have you noticed
Bryce's ability to extend plays at all, and how can you help him finish that?
Really just stand on the move in those situations. If you see him get out the pocket, try to get in his vision and
Okay.
try to make a play for him. It don't matter what situation you in with him or whatever, just try to at least be in position to make a play at all times for him.
I'm sorry. There seems like a pretty concerted effort among coaching staff and front office here to keep expectation levels low this year, to not overstate things. How foreign is that for you coming from, Pittsburgh?
I mean, I try to bring that same mentality over from Pittsburgh to here, because I know what it's like to win. I'm just trying to bring that energy to this team and the receiver group as well. So if I feel like we're not moving as a unit with that sense of urgency, I'm gonna say something. But I'm not a big talker. I kind of let my game speak for itself or whatnot. But like I said, I feel like towards the end of practice we could have finished strong. We started strong, but we just gotta continue to just carry that same energy throughout the whole practice. And in those situations, like when it's time to move the ball, we gotta move the sticks. Like I say, urgency is a big key in that factor. And so we still learning. It's only day 2, and we still got a lot of room to grow. And like I say, continue to learn from each other. It's a new team.
I'm sorry, Deontay, you've been through some transitions before. When you're getting to know a new quarterback, what are the most important things for you, whether it's off field or on, to try to go through that process?
Really just trying to build that connection. Really just see what he likes. You tell him where you like the ball on certain routes and stuff, and you work those in routes versus there, or after practice as well, or in between. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you can get those reps, because those matter. And when the bullets fly and when it's time to put the ball down and play, you get in those situations, you know what to expect.
Dante, you have a history of being able to get really, really open a lot of the times. How do you kind of balance that, whether it's in a game or practice, the ability to get open versus knowing that doesn't mean you're going to get the ball every single time you're open?
I try to have in the back of my head the ball's coming my way every time, so that allows me to go out there and play full speed. And you know what I'm saying, when I'm at the line, I always have a plan. And that allows me to just play with confidence, knowing I'm going to get open, expect the ball to come my way at all times. So just little stuff like that. I try not to play like the ball not coming my way. Because you play like that, the ball pop up on you, you're going to be like shocked. But just try to stay locked in at all times.
Let's hear from J.C. Horn.
Do you want to eliminate escapism like porn, video games, and
blah, blah, blah. All right. We're here for this.
First training camp in Charlotte. What does it feel like? Does it feel awkward or you like it?
Yeah, I like it. It felt kind of weird at first, just seeing the fans out here and stuff like that, but it's just a whole new vibe, new practice fields, new look. So it was fun. We still got the same work in, so it was good.
Do you prefer being able to go home as opposed to going to a dorm room?
I'm still young, so I got to stay in the hotel rooms, but some of the vets get to go home, and I'd be kind of jealous after the day, but it's all good. It's part of camp.
Yeah, the age gap is to those who get to go home versus those that have to stay.
I think it's year four and younger, got to stay at the hotel. So I'm like right on the cuff. Yeah.
What other differences are there here versus time in Spartanburg?
I mean, I think the rooms are a little nicer at the residence than in the dorm rooms, but that's probably the only difference.
Get to it.
Here at the hotel, is it meetings and things like that, camaraderie, getting you guys?
Because you can't go nowhere after curfew, so we still as big as last year, but guys still play a lot of ping pong.
This isn't here. Who's your greatest rival?
I haven't been on the table.
Man, ask him a real question, man.
It's a certain level of helmet you have to have as far as protection, and if you have one of the newer helmets, you don't have to wear it. But if you got an older helmet, then it's required.
Haven't thought of
heavy, or why didn't you love it?
I just don't like the look. I'm a DB, you know, we try to look good. I hate it.
Man, these are the dumbest questions, man. Come on, ask him something decent, man.
Season, if that's the way they're looking at it.
Nah, I don't even think about extension. Like I said, I'm focused on, showing these guys I can be available and putting out good tape on Sunday.
Do you feel like you have something to prove this year?
There we go.
Yeah, more so to myself than anybody else. You know, I really don't care what the outside world got to say. You know, I want to prove to myself that I am who I say I am, that I'm one of the best corners in this league. And just being available, being able to help out my team, you know, I feel like I can show that.
You talked about making changes to your.
You know what? He says it, and I believe it. You can look him in the eyes and tell whether he's telling the truth on that or not. And that man is telling the truth. He really does believe he has a chip on his shoulder and he wants to prove himself right. He's got something to prove still. And I mean, with that injury last year, you can only do so much. But, you know, keep that chip on your shoulder, JC. Keep that chip. That's going to carry you, man. Use that as motivation. Show these people what you can do. A lot of these people think you're just some injury-prone corner, just that and the third. You just came into the team and you're not getting it done. You're just the next, Dante Jackson out here, just injury-prone and stuff. Man, go out there and prove them wrong. Because you know what you can do. You ain't got to prove to them nothing. Show everybody what you got. The ball's in your court, JC. Go out there and ball out, bro. Show them you're worth that contract. We all know you are. Just go out and ball out, bro. Like we know you are able to do. Like the boss that you are. Just go do it. You got this.
Your weight training regimen to be more available. Were there other changes that you made nutrition-wise, training-wise?
Yeah, well, last year I got a chef, so I'm continuing that this year, and I just tried to drop a few pounds. This off season, I was more so staying in the weight room instead of doing a lot of skill position work. Just standing in the weight room, trying to build my body up. And now when I'm out here, I get all the positional and technique stuff I need. So those are the main changes I made.
Did you
Good changes.
Look at any today?
Yeah, he got me. He ran an outright on me. They got me for a PI. And I was arguing with the ref because he's so strong, man. Like when he put his body on you or push or pull you, you really feel it. So I was like holding on for dear life at one point, and the ref got me on the PI. But it's always fun going up against X.
What is it like to look around and see so many Gamecock guys? Do you ask JD anything? Do you talk to Xavier about what to expect for his first training camp?
Yeah, we all try to help each other out. JD been in this league a long time, and we were talking yesterday, and he let me know like he ain't never had a losing season. So that's one of the things I hope he could bring over here, just bring that vet experience, and I'll try to help X out as much as possible too.
What do you notice
I'm gonna let this last question go.
about Bryce that may be different than training camp a year ago when he first was here?
Discover flavor.
All right, I'm done. I'm done with that presser. Man, no. As soon as you start asking about Bryce, everybody's going to jump down his throat and be like, Bryce Young this, Bryce Young that. Man, I don't care about that. We already know Bryce Young's got chemistry with the wide receivers. I want to hear from Dave. Let's focus on the important ones, guys.
That was good. High flying energy. Lot of good speed out there. That's what we're looking for. We want to make sure, when we go for it and we're extending our periods, we take advantage with everybody running after the ball. So got to watch the film to make sure everybody was running. But it felt good. It felt like the energy was there on both sides. Some good execution on both sides for sure. Another great day weather-wise. I mean, we have just been blessed. I know sometimes games come down to skill. Sometimes the ball just got to bounce your way, and it seemed like it bounced our way this week. So, but of course, that's me. I'm always looking for something good to happen. And yeah, just really just impressed with the mechanics, the operation, getting the calls in, getting lined up. We didn't have any issues there, so I'm always looking for that, just for the operation to feel like a game. And we were certainly under the restraints of the play clock, which was great. And it was great to get some one-on-one.
The operation to feel like a game clock. Like a game day situation. That's something we haven't had before. You know, typically you go through the 2-minute drills. It doesn't really feel like a game time situation. With Ron Rivera, it did. I will say that. Ron Rivera ran his practices very, very tight-niched. So it actually did feel like a game time situation. But, you know, with Frank and Matt, it didn't. So, let's continue.
One shots down there earlier in the red zone to see guys compete and see who we can count on to come up with the ball and to make the plays. Questions?
Dave, with the wide receiver background that you have, we've made a lot about Deontay and Adam and even Leggett. But what are you seeing from the competition behind those guys over the last several practices?
Man, you see Mingo, Terrace Marshall really showing who they are. David Moore, you throw the ball his way, he comes up with it. You know, so I've really seen those guys come through and when we can depend on them, you know. So it's a really good room. It's a really good competition, some different style of players. Amir making some nice plays today. So it's something that we're counting on, right? We talk about, you know, creating that competition and challenging every position, and that's exactly what we want. We want to make sure everybody's pursuing their best. They're not looking left and right. They're just focusing on their execution and we're
Their execution. They're not looking left or right. They're focused on just them. Creating competition. Okay. I like this. I very much like this. Just the way he talks right now just tells me, you know, this dude's serious. He knows what he's trying to do. He's going in with a purpose, you know? It's not just, oh, well, we're just going to go through practice as usual. It's training camp. No, this dude's got a plan and he's got a purpose. He knows what he wants. And he's pushing these guys to meet those standards. It's not just lackadaisical. It's a plan with a purpose. Very good job.
getting good execution out of those guys right now.
You had a guy last year, and you had last year, Devin Tompkins.
Yeah.
He also had some off-the-field issues for a while. Can you tell me what you guys looked into regarding that?
Yeah.
What you found out, and what was the decision in signing him?
Yeah, we had to be patient. You know, we had to wait for the league to process it before they can give us a green light on it. I have experience with Devin. I know what he can do as a football player. He was certainly just a great energy guy, really bought into what we were doing in Tampa, you know. So, you know, we did our due diligence on that part, and I'm excited to get him in here. He's another kick returner as well. He's got some explosive elements to his play, so really fun. Brings a different style of guy. We got a really big, strong group, which I love, but it's also good to have those change of pace guys, you know, that can attack the defense a different way.
Dave, given the fallout with Adrian Wilson recently, did that give you guys pause on Devin, and did the team conduct its own investigation?
Those were separate incidents so as we were looking at it, you know, they were just different things, and I don't want to get too much into it. I know those are all, you know, things that the league had to talk through and work through.
What's going on with Adrian Wilson? I didn't hear anything about that. Does anybody know in chat? Let me know. I didn't hear a thing about that, so I don't know.
The team did not do its own investigation.
I'm not sure about that. I can't tell you that.
Can you tell us something about the development of Bryce Young and how does he feel actually?
Oh, wait. That was the guy that we let go from our front office, right? You know, that got in trouble after we let him go? Yep, that's the guy. Wow. Can you guys imagine? we would have got hit with fines and loss of draft picks if this dude had gotten in trouble with the league while we still had him employed with us. Huh. Food for thought, right?
With the team, with
Yeah.
Adam,
Yeah.
We dodged a major bullet.
quite a long time, and
Yeah.
they look like they match.
Yeah, so for Bryce, again, it's just getting comfortable with our offense, our plays. He seems to be very comfortable with what we're doing. The execution part of it, that's the part where he'll be critical on some of the little things he might have missed. But he had some really good throws today. And again, the encouraging part is just getting the whole offense going so it feels right. You know, there's a flow to it. And it feels really smooth right now. So I'm really excited about that. And every day he gets a little bit better, and that's the goal, is to just try to improve one day at a time.
What does Teray bring to the defense?
Oh, just another veteran player, talented pass rusher, versatility, first, second, and third down. A guy that we've seen play just around the league, you know, the last couple of years. So I'm really excited to get him in the fold and challenge that group. We'll keep an eye on that. You know, we'll get him out there, run a little bit, just making sure when we don't have guys for a whole spring and we don't have a real, you know, true litmus test of their conditioning, we want to make sure we see them prove it to us that they're ready physically to get a part of it. Plus, just catching up on the wording.
There have been, you know, like from the outside looking in, there have been concerns about cornerback. It seems like Troy Hill, DiCaprio Boodle, some of those guys are really stepping up over the last week. What have you seen conversely from those as opposed to the wide receiver group?
Yeah, just another group of guys who see opportunity, right? And so just from a sheer number standpoint, what a great opportunity for them to get in there and make the most of their plays. You know, Dane had an incredible interception today, you know, on a boot play that was fantastic, you know, so showing his...
Whoa, Dane had an interception. Okay. This is the dude I was talking about I wanted to keep an eye on. This is the dude I had no idea about in our corner room. Excellent. So he's going to be our number 2 corner, fighting it out with Troy Hill for number 2 spot. And he's got a pick already. All right. Good to see that. That's encouraging news right there. Let's keep an eye on that.
Stuff, you know, JC.
Can he build on it?
Solid day together. But Deshaun, DiCaprio, Troy, Lamar Jackson made some nice plays and one-on-ones. So it's really
excellent.
The group is starting to shape, you know, and we just need more football. We need more plays, more opportunities to evaluate guys playing the ball when they get their shots.
If I can JC obviously participated quite a bit, and then DiCaprio kind of replaced him with the first team.
Yeah.
Is that like a pitch count or so? There's something.
Yeah, by design. You know, just he had a great day 2 days ago. Some of his highest speeds, you know, that he's had. And so with that, we just want to make sure we're smart about just continuing that flow. This is still an acclimation period, you know, so we're really trying to take advantage of that and make sure that we continue to ramp him up so he's ready to go.
Is the plan for you guys to be in pads on Monday?
Not on Monday. Or whatever day the next first practice is. It'll be the following, and then we'll have 2 padded practices within about 3 days there. So that'll be a good physical challenge for the guys to get that first padded day and then follow it up pretty quickly with another one. Is great for them to have to challenge themselves with the soreness. You know, can I stay focused? Can I execute my assignment, knowing my body is really starting to feel, you know, the challenge and the rigors of camp. So looking forward to that.
Dave, how would you
very interesting
interior offensive line at this point? Obviously, the pads haven't come on yet. But where would you say that group's at right now?
I'm really happy with where they're at right now. With Damian, Austin, and Robert, you know, just right up in the middle. You can feel it in the run game. There's good lateral movement when we need it. There's good vertical push when we need it. The pocket stays firm on the inside, you know. So I'm really excited about those 3 just communicating and working together.
Specifically, obviously, snapping the ball this preseason. What have you seen from him specifically?
Yeah, just good command of the center position, and he's as much a part of the offense running smoothly as Bryce. You know, as they go up there, they make their calls, they get everything started on a good foot, and then just the timing in which we do it and how we communicate it, I'm really excited about. Just the way that he's able to recognize things quickly.
Do you have any big picture observations about the defense, even though there's no tackling?
Oh, just the scheme that I love and hated before. I mean, it's really suffocating. They play their leverages so well. They're in position to challenge your passes. There just aren't a lot of freebies. You know, if we catch a ball wide open in our defense, you know, schematically we created something, but for the most part, the communication that happens up front, the communication in the back half with the safeties, linebackers, and the corners, you know, they're passing stuff off really at a high clip. It goes back to some of the veteran guys that we have there at the safety positions being able to get us in the right spots. Troy Hill knows his system like the back of his hand, and it's great for the younger guys to be able to see what it takes to play this defense at a high level. I'm really encouraged by that. Same thing I said about the offensive line up front. On the other side of the ball, between Ashawn, Shai, and Derek, I mean, that's a really formidable interior of the defensive line. So there's been some really good battles over the last couple days.
A couple more.
Interesting that he mentions Troy Hill as much as he does. Troy Hill was one of our suggestions, actually. And the management was on the same page when they went out and got him in an emergency situation at corner. And this dude now knows this system like the back of his hand. And I've been very impressed with Troy Hill. Very impressed. And he continues to succeed at a high level. So
We've got a tight end room that's starting to get a little crowded at another this week.
Yeah.
They've all kind of had their moment in practice at least once this week too. What can they do to kind of set themselves apart as decisions have to get made? What do you want to see?
Yeah, execution. We put a lot on those guys' plate. I would say, you know, quarterback definitely has the most. Tight ends probably right behind that because of their connection to the run game, pass game, and pass protection. So we really asked them to do a lot. So we're looking for that, can we count on you with all the things that we're going to ask you to do? And then beyond that, you know, when we get into situational football, third downs, when we get into our 2-minute drives, really looking to see who can be a viable target for Bryce, for Andy, you know, as we get through camp and they get those opportunities, who's going to come up with those plays? Because that'll be a specialty spot, you know, for somebody to be able to gravitate towards.
Position, bringing Franks in, is that an indication Tommy might be out for a little bit?
It was the same like we talked about the other day with our plan. Is, you know, if we're gonna get Tommy fully healthy, then we really had to shut him down. And with every positional group, the strength of the group is the number. So the minute one person goes down, while his 8 to 12 reps get distributed with the rest of the group. And so the tight end position in particular is a very physical position. And this is one that we always try to have about 6 guys as we go through camp, just so that we can have those legs and keep those guys strong and healthy to be able to stay out there. So that was a big part of it. And Felipe did a great job, you know, in his workout. So he impressed us, and we're excited to see what he can do.
Dave, just try to get clarity on when.
So it's basically next man up mentality, continuing that on, you know, to where if your guy Tommy Tremble goes down, the next man up you don't lose that much in depth when you go down to the next guy. That's what we're looking to build at every position. So, you know, at running back, at tight end, at offensive line, at quarterback, everything. All the way down to kicking position. You know, that's what we want. That's what we had in 2015. That's the bar that we're trying to reach again. And that's the bar we should be trying to reach every single year that we have a chance to do so. Just maximize the roster as much as you can depth-wise. Yeah, some years you're not going to get there if your rebuilding process is in its first year. Understandable. You know, but once you progress into the second year and the third year, that's when you should start seeing that depth get stronger and stronger and stronger. And sooner or later, you're going to see it end up looking like it did in 2015, where you lose a guy, oh well, hey, next man up. Nothing wrong with that. We got talent out the wazoo. Bring in the next guy. He'll do exactly what the first guy just did. Because he knows the system as well as the first guy. He's got the skills of the first guy. but it's just a tad below him. You know? That's where we want it. And there's a reason these guys are in the depth chart at 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? Because the first guy is stronger than the other ones. Than the second guy. The second guy is stronger than the third. That's why you have a pecking order. So, next man up. And it's about competitiveness and it's about execution. He said the word execution so many times. And he's absolutely right. I have not heard a head coach come in here into Carolina and say the word execution enough times until this man right here. Thank you, Dave Canales.
You're putting on pads. These could be practices after Clemson?
No, I can't think of I'm just thinking in terms of numbers of practices. The players have a day off tomorrow. We'll come back and we'll have another shell practice, and then we'll start to get into our pads after that. And we'll start to be really smart about how we space that in. So, want me to mention anything else about that? Clemson, are we good? Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, I got to get the other players in.
Okay, thank you.
Shout out to the media people that are mixing these pressers as well. You finally got somebody using the microphones correctly and mixing this correctly to where we can hear what the media people are asking, and the head coach or whoever it is answering, correctly with a good mic. So, without audio issues. So, shout out to the audio team. Y'all are doing a good job. I think we finally fixed that problem, right? I'm not interested in Austin Corbett. Derek Brown ready to start fresh this season. All these guys have a chip on their shoulder now. You know what I'm saying? Like, self-motivation. There's a theme going on here. These guys believe what this coaching staff is teaching them. They believe in the system. They believe in what Dave Canales is doing. They're buying in at a high level. More so than they've ever bought in. And it's showing. Okay, Dane Jackson. I don't know a thing about Dane Jackson, so let's learn about him.
Visit Vanguard.com.
Let's learn who this dude is. I don't just want to see these players on the field. I want to learn who they are in a press conference, too. I want to learn both sides of them. So let's go.
It's been good. I mean, just getting the groove out there, just trying to get up to speed with, football movements again. I mean, we've been here for a week, but, you go throughout summer and just doing workouts and stuff, but just trying to get up to football speed.
I know they probably gave you a primer as to what they wanted to see out of you when you signed, but seeing it play out on the field, how is it comparing to what you were getting when you were being courted to be signed?
I mean, just taking it day by day, really. You know what I mean? Like I said, just trying to get down the techniques and get down the movements and stuff, and just trying to make plays out there.
Damon, I think Coach Canales has said multiple times about the defensive scheme and how he was really frustrated when he would have to game plan against it. What is it about the scheme that makes it easy for you guys to be successful in the secondary and tough for offensive play?
I just think our coaches, they do a great job of putting us in the right position. They dial it up. Coach E, he knows where everyone should be. He makes the right calls at the right times, and they do a good job of defining everyone's role, so no one's second guessing out there what's expected from them.
I think there's been a lot of talk about the cornerback room and.
Okay, I'm noticing he's stuttering a little bit, so that's a nervous tick, as far as like public speaking is concerned. So maybe he's just trying to formulate his words and make sure he's professional about it. Some of these people will do this, for that reason. Some of them just don't have a clue what they want to say and they just wing it. And it's just a bunch of stuttering. So, and I feel like he's smart enough to be able to formulate what he wants to say. So, but he reminds me of Leo, voice-wise. Leo off of Big Cat's channel and Unk's channel. Y'all get that vibe from him, with his voice. I get that voice. I get that from him right there. Cause I've heard Brother Leo talk a lot on Big Cat's channel, and I hear that same voice. And I'm just like, man, that's Leo. Tell me I'm wrong, y'all. Y'all been watching his streams too. Tell me I'm wrong.
What that depth chart's going to look like. Do you guys hear any of that, or is that just you keep it contained?
Yeah, we pretty much keep it contained. I mean, just try to keep focusing on the guys that's out there, the guys that's behind us, and just keep moving along.
And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, man. That it sounds like him. Because I love that. I love that he's got that voice. Because Mr. Leo's got a lot of intelligence that he brings to the table, when he calls into the shows and stuff, So, I feel like Dane's got that same intelligence. He's coming in there sharp. He's coming in there like he knows his stuff, So, I get that vibe from him. I get that confidence. But I also get like a little bit of nervousness, with public speaking too. So, I get that, man. Because I was like that when I first got into speech class too in college. So I get you, man. I feel that.
Dan signed you. He
Ain't nothing to be ashamed of.
He brought you here for a reason. Did you feel
Let's keep working on it.
And maybe this was communicated to you, that they signed you to be full-time starter?
Like I said, I'm just trying to take it day by day. I mean, I know in this league everything's a competition. I go out there with the ones, and that's my role right now. So I just take it day by day and continue to compete every day.
That's the mentality I'm looking for. That's it, right there. This dude understands that is a dog-eat-dog league. And even if you were brought in to be a starting position, you got to stay hungry. Otherwise, you could lose that position in any given day. If you don't come out there and compete every single day, you are going to lose that position. This man gets it. This man gets it. Very impressive, Dane. You're already coming in with a baller mentality, man. Let's go, Dane.
You come from Buffalo that's had a lot of success.
I like that.
Come to Carolina, trying to get back there.
Like that answer.
To the team as a whole in terms of their mentality.
Just trying to bring like a winning culture. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're not excited with the results that happened last year. So everybody's trying to bring a winning culture around here and just continue to put the right pieces out there to help us win.
And you had the pass breakup on Terrace in 7-on-7. I'm just curious, how do you balance when you make a good play versus a bad play? Like the next play mindset, does that kind of give you a little bit more momentum? Do you kind of, get upset over the bad play? Like how do you handle a good and bad play?
Excellent question.
Not easy having a bad play, you know what I mean? But just a little older in the league now, I guess. I'm going into year 5, so it's easier to control, but it still like eats up at you every single play. You know what I mean? You have a bad play, but the more you control it, the more you're able to move on to the next play and make a better play.
Going back to the previous question.
Interesting. So his approach is just to control it. Huh. As opposed to the answer that you saw Deontay Johnson give. I think that's interesting. Let's keep that in mind. Every player is going to have a different response to that. So I'm kind of curious. That's an excellent question, and I want that posed to like all the different key positions. I want to hear from different people on that.
Nick just asked about, being around these guys for the first time, is there that kind of tangible fierceness that maybe there's something to prove out there and to kind of prove some doubters in terms of that? Is that something that's unique and different to this situation as opposed to where you've been in the past?
I mean, we already had a good defense, you know what I mean, in my opinion, you know what I mean. I'm just trying to come in here and just get in where I fit in and help win, help compete. But we already had good guys on the defense, great players on the defense, JC, Shaq, you know, all those guys, all the big boys up front, you know what I mean. Like I said, I'm just trying to come in here and bring some winning culture, I guess, and continue to compete.
This wide receiver group really didn't get a lot of attention last year. What stands out to them this year with all the additions they've made to it?
Everybody can play. I mean, you know, I said, like, I wasn't here last year. I don't really know what was going on in the receiver room or with the offense last year, but everybody can play. Everybody's competing out there. Everybody's running the right routes. Everybody's talking. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of competitiveness going on right now, so it's a good sign.
Dane.
That's a good / bad question, because the man's not going to understand what happened last year. Come on now. That's an unfair question. How are you going to ask a man what happened last year before you got signed to a team? The man doesn't do any homework on last year's stuff. He's more focused on what's going to happen this year. You know, that's ridiculous. Stop asking dumb questions like that.
What was free agency like for you in terms of were there other offers or interests from other teams?
There was a few teams, but, you know, like I said, I let my agent handle that pretty much, and I don't get too caught up in that. You know what I mean? I just want to play football. So whoever was the best opportunity, and it was here, so I'm just happy to be here.
What
Good
was
answers.
The draw here? Because as you said, this is a team that went 2-15 last year. What was attractive to them?
I mean, just to talk.
Now that's a good question. That I want to know the answer to.
Between my agent and Dan and whoever else he was talking to, just made me feel comfortable and made me feel like they wanted me, and that's what a player wants in this league. You know, they want to feel wanted to make a place home and go out there and give it their all.
Interesting. Okay, so they're trying to make players feel comfortable and want to be here and want to give their all. And it's the culture. It's the identity that we have created under Dave Canales and Dan. It's the new identity. So, there you go.
Is there like advice that you got maybe from like Jordan Poyer or Micah Hyde that you kind of given to like
Micah Hyde,
Jamie Robinson, Shaw Smith Wade as they're trying to make this team and are younger guys trying to prove themselves? And
whenever a guy, like, I'm not overly talkative person, I guess, because when I had those vets, like you said, Poe and Micah, they talked a lot, but they were more lead by example, and that's kind of how I've always been in my career as well. But whenever I see like a guy may be down or something, younger guy may be down or something, I'm always like one of the first to reach out and just let them know, you know what I mean, just the way the league goes, you know what I mean, because that was a big thing for me coming in, you know what I mean, the older guys, they always just let me know how the league goes. Whenever I got down on myself, like you said, it's everybody just wants to compete and do better, you know what I mean, no one wants to go out there and make a bad play or anything like that, so when those things happen, you know, I'm always trying to be one of those guys to definitely uplift a player for sure.
Dane,
that's a good trait.
Early impressions of Bryce Young. We've seen him for about a week here in training camp. Early thoughts on him?
He's a guy for sure. I mean, he makes all the right throws. You know what I mean? Some of the times I'm like, dang, I'm doing my best out here. I'm covering as good as I can, and then the throw just beat you. You know what I mean? It's always on the money. So he's a competitor. He makes the right throws, and he's always making good decisions.
I'm curious.
Oh, hold up now. So for all the Bryce Young haters out there, all the people that love to talk trash about Bryce Young, hold up now. You mean to tell me he's been able to do this all along? He's been able to do all of this stuff? Huh. Things that make you sit back and go, And all the Bryce Young haters are going to come out and say, oh, he's lying. He's talking through his butt. Oh, he's lying. Man, no, he's not. You seen it on video today. I just showed you a play. He ain't lying. Stop it. You just hate the man just to hate the man. You did the same thing to Cam Newton. You did the same thing to other players as well. Just stop it, bro. Who you trying to fool? You, yourself, or I? Man, nobody's falling for the act. Like, just go deal with the ghost, Scooby-Doo. That's what I'm saying. Just go deal with the ghost. You don't need no Scooby stacks. You don't need no act. Just deal with the ghost in the room. Stop lying. Bro. You just can't deal with the fact that you just don't like a quarterback that is shorter than the average quarterback. That's all it is, bro. That's all it's literally been since the beginning of this Bryce Young thing. All of a sudden, you know, I've been preaching the fact that Bryce Young is better than he's showing. I've been telling y'all since the beginning of last year, this dude is better than you think he is. I even told y'all during training camp that he's better than what y'all think he is. Y'all still don't want to believe it. Y'all keep hearing it from player after player after player. You know, are all of them lying? At this point, come on, man. At some point, man. Yeah, y'all got to stop. Y'all got to stop and take somebody's word for it. Because this is getting ridiculously out of hand. Just admit you don't like the man. Talking about he looks like some middle school kid, you know, coming out of high school with a backpack on. Man, stop. Y'all just like to make fun of people just to make fun of people. That's what it is. Y'all some playground bullies. Just admit what you are. You know, and then we can move on. Because this is stupid. What's he supposed to eat? Some spinach and become the next Popeye? He's supposed to suddenly become Superman out there? With the S on his chest? Come on. Y'all be putting some unrealistic stuff on Bryce, man. Some unrealistic expectations that you know he'll never live up to. You know, you expect him to be like Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, you know, and he's not those people. He's not those people. Stop it. Why do y'all keep doing this, man? For real. And their answer is, oh, well, we got to compare him to the best that's out there. No, you don't. Just treat him the way he is. He's Bryce Young. That's all he's ever going to be. Good, bad, or indifferent. You got to make lemonade out of whatever situation you get in. Just because he's not tall enough for you. Make lemonade out of it. Y'all don't know how to do that, though. I'm wasting my breath. Because people just keep going on and on and on about that nonsense. So, it's whatever.
How much did you hear about his season last year? I know you didn't play directly against him. How much did you know of him last year, and what were your expectations when you first faced off against him?
I definitely knew him.
Now, see, that's the right question to ask, because he actually did play against him. Okay, cool. That he can answer.
I just didn't watch much much like Panthers football and stuff like that. But it's because I mean, I was with a different team, had my own thing going on. But
Exactly.
I definitely knew of him, and I always knew he was a great quarterback coming out, and even in college. You know what I mean? Watching Alabama and everything like that. So definitely knew he was a great quarterback. Now I'm just happy to be on the team and compete with him.
Yeah. Exactly what I expected. Exactly the answer I expected. And all of us should have been expecting. All right, let's do one more. This is Dave talking about Bryce Young. This is yesterday, before the break, right? Let's go.
First day of pads, guys are getting after each other. Great teachable moments right there, right? We're towing the line, we're pushing each other. The physical nature of it, it gets heated sometimes, but it's just a great opportunity to teach them about what happens in the game. Be a great teammate. Pull our guys away. Don't give the opponent anything. We can't give them free yards. We got to keep our head about us. And again,
Facts.
Just in general, we lose time. The play clock's running. All those
Facts.
things. So just really good, teachable moments right there as we start to get a little bit, pushy and shovey at the end of some plays there. Rashad Penny.
Facts. And to add on to that point, turn that negative aggression and energy into something positive. Stop the practice, put Icky and Clowney into a one-on-one drill, and say, okay, you stood your ground against Clowney when it wasn't even a play. Now do it again during a drill. Do it again. Now we know you could do it. Do it again. But do it in a healthy way. Let me see that type of energy throughout practice. All that frustration boiled to the surface. Of him not getting stuff done, missing blocks, bad footwork, bad hands. Yeah, now you're going to take it out on Clowney, right? You're going to stand your ground against Clowney. Okay. There's that grit that I'm looking for. There's that fire. Put it into practice. Put it into reps. Don't get yourself in trouble with the refs. Be smart. But put it into reps. Let's go.
Okay, Rashad Penny's decided to retire. It was a really cool opportunity for me to see. I know Rashad at his best. To see if we could get him to that kind of look. And he came up and he just felt like he wasn't himself, and I had to respect that, going forward, just for him to, I don't understand what that's like, to have a feel, to have a vision, and to wanting your body to do exactly what you tell it to do and just not responding the right way. So, he for sure I was glad to be a part of this process with him, just because I've known him for so long, and I wish Rashad the best. Let's see.
I can imagine that has to be incredibly frustrating, especially if you're an athlete. You're exhausted, you're tired, you've had so many years in the game, and then, your body just doesn't respond the way you want it to. And it's just like, you just know, And I can't say I've been there. I'm not an athlete, but I get where he's coming from. Sometimes it's just your time to bow out of the game. And that was his.
See what else here.
I respect it.
Taylor, we shut them down for a day just to kind of get a little recovery, and take care of their bodies, bounce back, see if we can get them back for the for our Clemson practice there. So
notice how he's taking care of these players, health-wise. He's not just saying, okay, well, we're just going to put everybody in there, because they give us the best chance to win, no matter how injured they are, like Ron Rivera. No. He's saying, no, we're going to take care of these players, because they're not just money. They're not just names on a list. They are people. They're human beings. Let's treat them like people. And that's, look at the humanistic side of Dave Canales. I love this. I love this because this is what's going to help us drive us into the future and do excellent things with health and concern for the players' health in the future. Finally, we got a coach that cares about that. Excellent. Let's continue.
Any questions?
That last play, it was kind of hard to see. What happened? How did you end practice? What was that play?
Yeah, we're going to have to go to the tape. So, we have our review screens right there, and it's kind of a wide shot. There could be a body part that got in at the end right there. Maybe not, but that definitely swings our drills. We keep score of all of our drills. Interceptions, turnovers, and touchdowns are all 6 points. Everything else is pretty much 1 point for the offense or defense. So could be a big swing right there. The guys know it and expect it, and they're already talking about it right there in the huddle at the end. So we'll have to go to the tape.
Was it right before practice or?
It was after. It was in the afternoon. Yeah. It was yesterday afterwards, and we had a really nice talk. And so again, wish Rashad the best.
Dave, there was a deal yesterday, I guess, with a drone over practice that got public. Were there any steps taken by the organization? And was that concerning to you at all at your first camp?
You guys can ask Bruce about that afterwards. I wasn't aware of that, so maybe I should have my eyes kind of figuring out where these drones are. Put some fake plays out there for them or something, but I don't know.
You didn't know that?
No.
I'm sure you talked about Trevor Wallace. What are you looking?
Hold up. So y'all put fake plays out there for people that are videoing? Okay. What are we actually trying to hide here? Everybody does the same drills in training camp. Am I right or wrong? In every training camp, it's the same drills. I don't get what we're trying to hide here. The media gets the same content that we get as YouTubers, or as people that just randomly fly drones. Now, do I like the fact that we have fans that throw drones out there? No. I'm not thrilled about it at all because that's going to make things tighter security-wise on that. And I'm already very, very pissed off at how we're handling this. So, but it's a league policy. It's not necessarily the Panthers' policy. It's the league policy. So, there's not much we can do about that. So, the process is what it is on that. Oh, are they going to do something or not? No. That's not the right question, dude. The question is why you flying a drone in the first place. Why do you feel the need to throw a drone out there in the first place? Because of the stupid league policies, that's why. Because the media wants to control every doggone piece of media that goes out there. That's why people are putting drones out there. Not just because they feel like throwing a drone out there just to play with the doggone thing. You could do that at home in your local park. People are doing it because they're basically saying screw you to the league. I see video footage from YouTubers all the time, just basically ignoring the rule. And I'm like, okay, well, if I go out there and I take my own footage and I try to put it up there, to review it, like you guys are doing, I get copyright out the wazoo. And I'm not looking to make a dime off this. Yet somehow, my content gets taken down, and everybody else's stays up. Make it make sense.
Yeah, so big, strong, and fast. He can really fly. So when he starts flying around, I know that he's starting to get the defense. He's starting to get comfortable with the calls, where he's supposed to be, his alignment, and all that stuff. As young guys' wheels are turning, you can see them overthinking, sometimes processing. He's still kind of teetering in that mode. So really looking for him to settle in so we could see him big and fast every play.
Your message, even before practice, to players about fighting
My message to us is we have to be able to practice hard. We have to be able to bring everything we got between the whistles. We got to have the hitting. We got to have guys fitting up blocks the right way. We got to have the physical nature of our play to be able to make our team and to figure out who can do what. But we also got to handle the flip side of it, right? Is we're going to push each other, all the way through the echo of the whistle. We have to get our minds, wrapped back around what's best for the team once that play's over. So that's been my message, generally.
Excellent message. That's what we need to be doing.
Training camp practices, it's really hard for that third group to get reps, especially at quarterback. Jack's had quite a few amount of reps, especially today.
Yeah.
Why is that important to develop that guy who is deep down in that pecking order right now?
Yeah, for me, it's about evaluating every player that we have. And we're going to ask our guys in preseason, we're going to ask everybody to play. So those threes have to be ready to function and really just at a basic level to be able to evaluate an offensive play. We got to get the ball snapped on time.
Next man up.
The exchanges are critical. We've been a little bit sloppy. So the more ops I can give them now, the more we can evaluate everyone when we get into these games. That's really what it amounts to, And yes, I want them.
Correct.
I want the product to be good and all that, but it really gives us a chance to evaluate when we're operating, and we're functioning. So it only happens out here. We can't just make that up and assume that they're going to be able to do it once we get to preseason games.
Correct.
Do you want to see how much money you're eligible for?
Well said, Dave. I like that. It's a great answer. It's exactly what we're trying to do.
On the emergency third QB role, you've talked a little bit about what you want in the third QB,
Yeah.
but just generally when it comes to the rosters, what is your opinion?
Yeah, it's invaluable. I think we saw some examples around the league last year where teams got really thin with their quarterback room, and then all of a sudden you're pulling somebody from outside of the building that you haven't really had a chance to talk about your scheme and all that. And sometimes they can get it done because they're pros, but it really helps you, if you can afford to have that extra person available for the emergency type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
J.C. Hornet kind of had the rule today when it comes to the one-on-ones a little bit. Seemed like there was almost kind of the punchback from the wide receivers today, especially in the early periods. How do you like that iron sharpening iron with both sides of it?
I love that. Just the opportunity for, you said it, iron sharpens iron. We make us. That's kind of the saying that we use around the building is if you bring your best, you're not trying, the point is to just come out and try to beat the guy across from you. If you bring your best and your opponent brings their best, then our whole play elevates. That's the mentality we want, really. So it doesn't become about just beating
Yes.
the guy. It becomes, can I execute
Yes.
at my best ability, at my highest level? And if we're all doing that as a team, just think about how that elevates the quality of football that we have is when we get these matchups and people are bringing everything they have.
Difference in the running back.
Correct.
With no Rashad in there, I mean, that obviously means one spot comes open. Guys like Miles can potentially elevate their play.
Too early to tell. Yeah.
You learned about the depth on the offensive line. I mean, you talked about safeties yesterday, but
Yeah.
with Taylor not practicing today, Damian was kind of in and out yesterday. What do you know about that group?
Yeah, great to see Badara Traore out there with the ones working at tackle. Big matchup for him, right? He's got to block Clowney over there on the right side. So, again, just an opportunity for him to elevate his play, to pursue his best, to see how he fares against those guys. And really, just being able to have that depth, and Josh Nyman will come back to us at some point too. We're counting on him to really add some depth there at the tackle position. But I love, just talking about the interior. I love what I've seen from Chandler, from Cade Mays, from Brady Christensen right now so far in camp. I feel like it gives us a lot of versatility in there.
Update on David Davis.
Yeah, so it's a injury, and I don't have any specific timeline on it, but it's an injury that it is going to take a couple of weeks. And so right now what we need is legs. We need people out there. So we signed another receiver to make sure that we can have the numbers in that room.
I've already said that Brady Christensen and Cade Mays are solid at depth. So, and for what I'm hearing, they're trying out Brady Christensen at all 5 positions. So he's been moving around, so he could do all 5 positions, depending on where he's needed. So he's flexible. I thought both of those draft picks were excellent. And I was so happy when I saw both of them get drafted because both of them were on my board. And I told you, from the moment these guys were going to be drafted, I knew they were the ones that were going to stick after 30 days of training camp. Once I watched them the first 5 days, I knew. I had a beat on him right away. And ever since then, both of them are still here. There's a reason both of them are still here. I called it on Brady Christensen. I knew we hit a home run on him. Cade Mays was still the question mark for a year or two, but he's turned out to be really, really solid. And it turns out we got a really solid guy there. So that's 2 depth pieces we know we have confidence in. Now, what about the rest? That's where we need to start moving and looking around at them. Once we built that starting 5, solid starting 5, then we start looking at everybody but Brady Christensen and Cade Mays. Because those two have to maintain that level of success. To build the depth around them.
Josh, is that somebody that you hope to get back during camp, or do you think that might linger into the season?
Hopefully during camp, so we're week to week just evaluating where he's at, coming off that reinforcement surgery.
Dave, when you first met Bryce, I mean, he's coming off a season where he was, 2 and
Here we go.
almost just as many interceptions as touchdowns. It was a really tough season, obviously, offensively. What did you say to him, and was his confidence down, and did you have to get that up, and how is he now with him?
His message was great. He was like, think about all the lessons I learned this year. I talked to him about, you got 16 games under your belt moving forward here, so there's some carryover with some stuff, but it was just about looking forward. It's about just taking each step of the way, trusting the process, trusting the progression of how we teach our quarterbacks and how we teach our offense, and that's what he's really bought into, it's just like, just today matters.
Mm-hmm.
When you can set up reliable...
Correct. Just today matters,
And he continues to show that ability to just take the new information, take the little adjustments, and just incorporate it to his game. And he's got such a great demeanor about it. There's no panic with him. It's really just he's got a real true self-belief and confidence, and his self-talk about who he is and what he can do is so great. It's so strong. That's exactly how you need to be for this position.
Wasn't down when you met him at all, or?
Not to me, it wasn't.
About him today, though, first day in pass, what jumped out about him today? Anything positive or negative?
Really, that nothing changed from yesterday. You put the pads on and he's still trying to throw on time. He had a couple of nice completions there. We got a little bit weird on a couple of snaps there at the end, one team period before the move the ball, so we'll be able to fix that part. But, it was just another step in the right direction. Some good play action shots he took, and just seeing him operate and feeling more and more comfortable in our system.
Will everybody be required to take the bus to Clemson? Is that how we're...
Yes. Yeah, we're going to go there as a team. It's a team function, an opportunity to just practice being together on the road, kind of, even though it's with our, Panthers family and Panthers fans, it still gives us that you're not sleeping in your home, you're not at our normal
What a dumb question. Next.
Hotel room. It changes the environment, and then see if the guy
Focus on, let's say, hypothetically, naysayers or poor production the year before. How do you kind of guide them as a leader to not dwell too much on that?
Yeah, that's just, it's the wrong process. It's the wrong approach to take. Our guys aren't really there. They're not really using that external what happened in the past. It's what can we do today? What is the 2024 Panthers team going to look like? That's what we're after. And if I can keep guys focused, working towards how do we do today in practice? Okay, how do we do on the next one? We don't need to make any judgments about the past or the future. We don't need to make any statements about this season or anything like that. Can we just have a great practice? And that's the mentality that's powerful, because if you start using external motivation, well, what happens when that motivation's gone? Then where are you at? It's got to come from here. It's got to be about pursuing your best today. Now, guys come in, and I see a couple of guys who are just really focused to find their best, and I'm just trying to capture that part. Just try to ride the momentum of Miles Sanders coming into this camp with this great look on his face about what he's going to do this year. And it's just so cool to be able to use that momentum for the whole group. It's like, here's a guy that's getting after it every day. Can we all do that as a team?
So, you reference Miles Sanders mentality. You know, here's the guy that everybody thinks needs to be traded, needs to be moved, and you're using him as your motivational piece. I can see how people could spin this the wrong way. You know, after missing that whole paragraph of things about him saying all that stuff about take it day by day, you know, and, you know, we're just gonna focus on this year. You know, people are gonna completely skip out on all that stuff, and they're gonna call it a bunch of mumbo jumbo bull crap. But really, that's the most important part. You're focused on the opposite part when you should be focused on the other part. You know, and I've seen so many people take it the wrong way and out of context. Every time this happens with a coach or a player or whatever it may be, focus on what the coach is saying about our work ethic, our energy, what we're trying to do now. You know, and leave the future forecasting to people like us. You know, they're YouTubers. You know, leave that to people that know a little bit about this franchise and understand these players, you know, and all that stuff. You know, that's our territory. You know, that's our cup of tea. You just focus on the day-to-day, Dave. You know, we'll handle all that. You know? Because we know what we're doing. You know, we've been watching this team for how many years, you know? Name a YouTuber, they'll tell you the same thing. You know, that's more our cup of tea. And I look at Dave Canales and I see a man that truly believes what he's saying. You know, he really wants to focus on this year and what's going on this year. And that's good. That's excellent. That's the mentality we're looking for. If you do good this year, then, okay, that's when you get into the YouTuber territory where us YouTubers say, okay, well, if you do good this year and you get 7 to 8 wins, you know, you get more wins than you did last year. Okay, cool. How can you build on that into the next year? You know, and get to a point where you're at 10 wins consistently. You know, a winning season consistently. That's the goal. So, that's our area of expertise as YouTubers, to kind of go into depth on that and go into detail and say, this is how we're going to do it. You know, the head coach should be focused on what he's doing this year. You know, it's a what have you done for me lately league. So that's the right mentality to have. So, Dave, stick with that mentality that you got right now, that philosophy. We'll handle the rest.
He apparently had some words for the media when he came over after a touchdown or something that day. What have you noticed in that? Is there an attitude to get his job back, or what do you see out of it?
I didn't hear it, so I don't know.
Dave, is this a day, you know, you go through OTAs and all the time just in helmets and it's mental reps. Is this like a holiday? Pads on? Does it feel like real football?
I mean, it's fantastic, but hopefully we had 3 really good days before this, you know, of flying around. I try not to make any one thing different than the other ones. It's the same thing with games. If you were to tell me that preseason 1 isn't the most important game for a lot of the guys on our roster, you know what I mean? Like this is their opportunity. This is their shot, and I try to approach every game that way, every practice that way. Well, all of a sudden, hey, we got to turn up now. We got to really go now. That's just the wrong mentality. It shouldn't matter about the opponent. It shouldn't matter about the time of year. This is the only one we have. Can we capture it? Can we go for it? We happen to have pads on today. We got some new information about how to handle the physicality and not take it personal. That's a great teachable moment right there. But I try to push them hard every morning. I try to get up in the morning and tell them, man, this is such a great day. We got a little bit shorter practice. We're going full speed. Take advantage. Find your opportunities to make it a game rep. If we extend the practice by 20 minutes, then let's go 20 minutes longer, and let's go just as hard. So if we have that type of mental fortitude and that mentality, then every moment becomes critical. Every moment becomes important. So hopefully that's the message.
Facts, Dave. Facts. That's the mentality we're looking for.
Defense, is there like a prize at the end of camp, or is there like anything that they're building towards, or is it just motivation and?
Yeah, the thing that you'll learn about these competitors out here is it's just got to have a score. And all of a sudden, these guys just go crazy. It could be ping pong. It could be trivia. It could be the practice field. And all of a sudden, they're arguing, was it a catch or was it not? And that's the nature of this level of football. These guys are highly competitive individuals. You just got to put some stake out there, and all of a sudden, everybody's just going for it. So I truly believe in it. You know, I saw it
I like
in
it.
person. It's like you wouldn't think, right? The 10-year veteran is like, oh, here we go again. No, you put a score up there, and all of a sudden they go. You know, so it's something
He
I really
gets
love,
it, dude.
and it brings a lot
He
of
gets how
experience
these
to our
players work, man.
Thank you.
I like that. He gets how these guys work. You know, every player that comes in here, you know, whichever community you come from, whether you're white, black, whichever community you come from, you're going to be competitive. You know, race doesn't matter. You're going to come in wanting to keep score. You're going to want to come in and be the top dog. And that's the point of training camp. You're trying to become that top dog at your position too. So the challenge for a head coach really becomes, how do you take that energy and convert that into reps that are productive and getting these guys to play their best, even in just reps. That's what it really is the challenge of. So, and I think Dave's got this figured out, man. I really do. I like it. I like the mentality. I love the energy. I love the passion. I love what he's doing. He's just got that fire in him. You can tell when you watch his interviews and his pressers. He really, really believes in what he's talking about and what he's trying to teach. And when you really believe and you're passionate about what you're trying to teach and you have knowledge in it, people are going to buy in. The man's telling the truth. He's honest. If you don't think he's honest, then I refer you back to Frank Wright last year. Because that man was not truthful at all. I refer you back to Matt Rule. He is not truthful at all. Okay. So if Dave Canales is not truthful, then what are they? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Y'all gotta stop this. This man's honest. I'm getting that read, and I'm a very good judge of character. And it hasn't changed yet. My read from day one has been the same as it is today. It's the same read. He's an honest man that truly believes in what he's doing. You don't believe that? I don't know what to tell you. Because you're seeing things differently than me then. I respect your opinions. I respect your beliefs. But I can't get on board with it. You know what I'm saying? I get on board with the realistic train. You know? Y'all see the glass half full. Some people see it half full. Half empty. You know? I see it as a glass. It's a glass of water. That's how I see it. And I'm going to be real about it. That's what I see. That's what I'm hearing. You know, we got 3 different types, you know what I mean? And I respect all 3. So, ways of looking at it. And I could see how a couple of those comments could get taken out of context. And people could think, oh, well, you could take it and run with it and act like he's lying and come up with all kinds of nonsense, you know. But, end of the day, the dude's going to lead us to wins. I believe that. Do you guys believe that? I believe that. It may not happen immediately, but have patience. It will. This is the correct choice, a head coach. And I still believe that today. Let's see what happens. Alright, with that being said, is there anything else we need to chat about? Oh, the running back room. The running back room looks solid. He's been talking about the running back room, and we got that new running back from Washington University. Awesome. But, beyond that, I think we got a solid group coming here, man. We got a solid group. We're going to do a lot of good things. Alright, that being said, we're getting ready for the trip to Clemson, Fan Day. If you see me out there for Fan Day, come say hi in Clemson University, because I will be there in person. And I'll be up there on the 5th and 6th in Charlotte. Shout out to the Real Sunchild. Shout out to Lock Poppy in chat today, hanging out with us. And for everybody else that's popped in and hung out with us, like and sub if you haven't already. It's free. You know, the channel's free. We keep it that way for a reason. Because we want to educate everybody. You know, we're not going to make people pay for it. That's cheap, man. That's petty. But everybody's got their own channel, you know, and their own way of doing things. So, I respect it. I respect the hustle, you know. Some people just trying to get their money. So, I ain't gonna say nothing against it. You do what you do, I do what I do. End of the day, we still get through the same road. You know what I mean? As Panther fans. One love, baby. But hey, stay happy, healthy, and well, guys. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
All you gotta do is
keep pounding. Have a good night, you guys.